The 300-pound sister found a weight loss camp online. They promised to turn her into a fairy within a month. I discovered that the weight loss camp was unlicensed and a fly-by-night operation. After much persuasion, my sister finally gave up. A month later, all the girls who went to the weight loss camp became slim beauties. The weight loss camp also announced its closure. My sister went crazy on the spot. She believes I stopped her from becoming beautiful. I soaked all my clothes in paraquat. I died from complete organ failure. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day my sister was going to the weight loss camp. I opened my eyes to see my sister Valerie lying on the couch, holding a chicken leg in one hand and swiping through the phone screen with the other. The fat on her belly jiggled with her laughter. Mom, come and see, there's a weight loss boot camp here. It promises to turn me into a stunning beauty in just 1 month. My mom brought out a plate of small cakes and placed them in front of Valerie. Oh, come on, you're not fat. Why go through all that trouble? Valerie was immediately displeased. She started yelling at my mom. My mom knows nothing but indulging in delicious food I make for her. That's how I ended up spoiling her like this. And because of that, the person she liked was stolen away. The 1-month tuition for the weight loss camp is 10,000 yuan, only accepting girls weighing over 200 gene. With a full refund of tuition if no weight loss is achieved within a month. Valerie was cooing and clinging to my mom. She said that way, even if she didn't lose weight, there would be no loss. My mom hesitated, then looked up at me. Renee, what do you think? I was startled back to reality. My mom asked me the same question in my previous life. I picked up my phone and looked up the weight loss camp Valerie mentioned. It's a newly established company with no qualifications. No other information about the company could be found online. They announced that this weight loss program only lasts for 1 month. After 1 month, they will suspend operations and will no longer accept new clients. This just won't do. It's clearly a scam company, taking the money and running. Who can guarantee losing weight in a month for someone over 200 pounds? Besides, Valerie already weighs 300 pounds. Even a few steps require a rest. I immediately told my mom about this. Advise them not to choose this company. If Valerie wants to lose weight, I'll help her find a reputable weight loss company. After some hesitation, they agreed. I also chose a highly reputable weight loss camp for her. Valerie came back complaining of being tired after just 2 weeks. A month later, the weight loss camp released a video. All the girls who weighed over 200 gene and signed up a month ago have now slimmed down into beauties. Their faces are rosy, and their qi and blood are abundant. They also announced the success of this round of weight loss and have temporarily closed for business. The reopening date is to be determined. My sister went crazy on the spot. She hated me to the core, blaming me for making her miss this weight loss opportunity. While I was away, she secretly bought pesticides and soaked them all in my clothes. I died in agony from complete organ failure to save Valerie. My parents claimed that I had mistaken pesticide for laundry detergent. They wept while holding my portrait. Renee, we can't lose Valerie after losing you. A sister should always forgive her younger sister. She knows she was wrong. You'll forgive her, right? Besides, it's not entirely her fault. If you had sent her to a weight loss camp in the first place, none of this would have happened, would it? I regained my composure, hid the hatred in my eyes, and spoke with a smile. It's a good thing that my sister wants to lose weight. My mother paused for a moment, then spoke again. Renee, do you think there's nothing wrong with this weight loss camp? I tilted my head, curiously looking at my mom. Mom, do you think there's something wrong? My mom patted her apron and stood up with a smile. I don't know anything about this. You went to college, so you must know more than me. My mom's expression changed immediately after I finished speaking. She nervously clutched her apron. Valerie's whole face scrunched up, and her entire body trembled with anger. Mom, what do you mean? You look down on me, don't you? What's so great about going to college? So only she, the college student, knows everything, and I know nothing, right? 2 streaks of tears rolled down her squinting eyes. Valerie sobbed and struggled to get off the sofa, rushing back to her room. The floor shook 3 times. The term college student is a taboo in our family. Valerie lost interest in studying after her crush was taken away. After the college entrance exam, she didn't get into any school. Her parents urged her to repeat the year, but she refused. Now she just lies at home every day, waiting for my mom to feed her. Valerie believes that if she loses weight, there's nothing she can't achieve. Both Tsinghua and Peking University are open to her choice. My mom gave me an annoyed look and clicked her tongue. What did you provoke your sister for? She's already insecure. And you had to say something like that. There's no need for that weight loss camp. You know her personality. She'll be back in 2 or 3 days. Make sure to talk to your sister during dinner. She wiped her hands and went back to the kitchen. I watched her retreating figure with a cold smile. That's just how my mom is. She's afraid of incurring my sister's wrath. She always encourages me to convey her message, being the one to take the heat. As soon as my sister gets mad, she steps in to smooth things over, completely blaming me. So Valerie has always disliked me. She thinks I'm always picking a fight with her. At lunch, Valerie brought up the idea of going to boot camp again. Mom and Dad, the registration for this boot camp ends the day after tomorrow. Hurry up and give me the money. Don't you want me to lose weight? My dad kept his head down and didn't say a word. My mom was frantically blinking at me, signaling me. I shoveled a few mouthfuls of rice into my mouth. Mom, what's wrong with your eyes? My mom hasn't scolded me yet. My sister's gaze shot over like daggers. My mom hesitated for a moment before speaking. Don't rush, Valerie. Let your sister check that weight loss camp online first. It's not that I'm unwilling to spend the money. It's just that I trust your sister's opinion more. I quickly refused. Mom, I don't understand all this. If Valerie wants to go, let her go, even if it's just for fun, right, Valerie, after dinner. My mom quickly pulled me into the room. She interrogated me about what I was trying to do. I didn't want to pay attention to her, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw a belly behind the door crack. It was Valerie hiding behind the door. What's the matter, Mom? If you don't want Valerie to go, just tell her yourself. I think it's good that Valerie has ideas, even if she just goes to play. It's fine since the money will be refunded anyway. Why exactly are you not letting her go? My mom got furious and slammed the table hard. Do you even understand? What kind of perseverance does your sister have? 10,000 yuan a month. Just throwing money away. What do you mean just going for fun? 1,000 is fine, but 10,000. Are you paying for it? I pretended to hesitate. I'd help her out if I had the money, but I've only just started working. How can I come up with 10,000? With a bang, Valerie yanked the door open and stood there, gasping for breath. Her eyes were bloodshot, and she ground her teeth. Oh, so that's it. You're just being stingy. You don't want me to go. I'm so fat now. I might as well be dead. I'll just die. That way you'll save money. She let out a howl and ran out with heavy thuds. My mom glared at me, too. Look what you've done. Valerie, listen to your mom's explanation. Valerie ran downstairs to the residential area and burst into tears. Snot and tears smeared all over her clothes. This is Valerie's usual trick. Every time she doesn't get her way, she goes downstairs and cries to the gossipy aunties. Now the aunties downstairs all know my mom is unwilling to spend 10,000 yuan on her weight loss. I bought a drink and watched with great interest. The aunties surrounded my mom and kept scolding her non-stop. You should really pay attention to your child's health. Look at how overweight Valerie has become. It's just 10,000 now, but who knows how much it will cost when the surgery comes around. Exactly, with things like this, it's hard to find a boyfriend. Your family isn't short of money, so just give 10,000 for the kid to have some fun. Valerie wailed even louder upon hearing she might not find a boyfriend. My mom doesn't want me to get married. If I lose some weight, won't men be lining up? The flesh on her body jiggled with every movement, creating a hilariously comical scene. My mom's face alternated between red and green like a traffic light. She initially tried to explain, but how could she out-talk those seasoned neighborhood aunties? Got a stern lecture from the aunties with a black face. She wanted to take Valerie home to talk, but Valerie refused to leave. There was no choice but to agree to Valerie's request. Only after transferring the deposit on the website in public did Valerie wipe away her tears and go home with her. My mom came home furious and slammed the door as she stormed into her room. Valerie couldn't care less. Mimi opened a website to pick out pretty dresses. She started planning where to go on a date with her crush in a month. The next day, the weight loss camp called and asked us to register in person. My mom took Valerie there early in the morning. She also brought me along, saying she wanted me to check if there were any shady practices. Even if there were, I wouldn't say anything. I don't want to die miserably in a hospital like last time. That pain is etched into my mind, impossible to forget. The reception at the weight loss camp was manned by a few muscular hunks. Valerie's eyes were glued to them, pulling my mom along. We had barely taken a few steps before I was drenched in sweat. The person in charge's eyes lit up when they saw Valerie's figure. Approached with the excitement of finding a treasure. Is this your daughter? Come, quickly fill out the registration form. I glanced at the registration form. It not only asked for basic information like name, age, and ID card, it also required blood type and birth. My mom was puzzled. Why would losing weight require all this? The person in charge explained that this is their latest technology, tailored for each individual. My mom looked at me. Renee, you went to college. What do you think? I shrugged. I'm not sure. Why don't you call and ask? Valerie got impatient and filled out the form in a hurry. She shouted, Mom, you promised me. You can't go back on your word. Oh, and there's also a confidentiality agreement and a refund agreement. Guarantee full refund if you don't lose 100 gene in a month. Valerie didn't even glance at it before signing below. The person in charge praised Valerie to the skies. Her features are delicate, her body proportions are great, and she has long legs. You'd definitely be a stunning beauty if you lost weight. Not only that, but they're also putting me down. Is this your sister? I just like to tell the truth. Don't take it the wrong way. If you lose weight, you'll definitely be even more beautiful than your sister. Once you lose weight, you'll definitely be the school beauty. Even Louis Fay won't compare to you. Forget about men. Even handsome guys will spend a fortune just to catch a glimpse of you. Valerie was floating on air, proudly raising an eyebrow at me. After being praised like that, there's no way I could make that call to my mom. I was forced by Valerie to pay the tuition. She threatened to jump off if I didn't give her the money. After paying, the manager asked her to choose a coach. Turns out those muscular guys at the door were all coaches. Valerie was overwhelmed with choices and pouted at the manager, blinking. It's so hard to choose. I can't decide. Can I have two? The director's mouth twitched, but he remained professional, managing his expressions perfectly. Valerie was allowed to pick two muscular hunks, a rare exception. I deliberately stayed behind for a while when leaving. I noticed the director said the same thing to every applicant. My mom went back and was so angry that she didn't eat lunch. Valerie didn't care at all, humming a tune as she packed her things. They're going to stay at a weight loss camp for a month. In the afternoon, my mom was still in a bad mood and sent me to take Valerie to the training camp. At the boot camp, a few fitness trainers began measuring Valerie. The person in charge pulled me aside to rave about how great their program is. I was losing interest until I noticed a live streaming setup inside. What's this? The person in charge gave a mysterious smile. They only told me to follow their account on a certain platform. The person in charge told me their training would start tonight. When I got home in the evening, my mom wiped away tears while looking at a photo of Valerie. Will Valerie, who's been so pampered, be able to adjust without us? Will she miss her mom? I pursed my lips. If you miss her so much, why don't you just go live with her at the weight loss camp? Her eyes lit up, and she actually took out her phone. Valerie's scolding came through the phone. I went back to my room, opened the app, and saw that the account had already started streaming. Valerie and the other weight loss girls stood in a row. The screen was filled with gift icons. The one with the most votes gets to lose weight first. The live stream doesn't have many viewers, but people keep voting. Valerie is the heaviest, and she has the most votes. The voting ended, and Valerie won. 3. She started live streaming her weight loss journey. I watched for a while. It was nothing out of the ordinary for a weight loss live stream. It was just dancing and exercising. Valerie was dripping with sweat and gasping for breath within just 5 minutes. She yelled for a break. They were quite humane, letting Valerie rest and bringing in another girl to take her place for the workout. I wonder, can you really lose 200 pounds in a month like this? It's just a regular weight loss. There's no way someone could lose 200 pounds in a month. 5 minutes later, Valerie returned to the stage. She said nothing and obediently danced for half an hour. Even though she was sweating profusely and too exhausted to lift her arms, she didn't ask for a break. That's not Valerie's style. It might have been a threat, or perhaps a promise of some enormous benefit. But what does it have to do with me? She had it coming. I watched this live stream for 2 days and didn't see anything else. It's not interesting. However, there's something strange. It seems like the same few people are always the ones tipping. A week later, I opened the live stream again. My eyes widened instantly. Is this still the 300-pound Valerie? She's lost a full 80 pounds. The live stream indicated that her current weight is only 220 gene. Although she still has a lot of flesh, but it's visibly much thinner. I was so shocked my jaw dropped. How is that even possible? In just 10 days, she lost 80 pounds. My mom was laughing so hard with her phone in her arms that her face was practically glowing. Valerie definitely inherited my good looks. She's a real beauty. Even at over 200 pounds, you could tell she was a great beauty. After the live stream, Valerie called my mom via video. She proudly showed my mom that her old clothes were now too big to wear. My mom asked her how she had lost weight. Valerie gave a mysterious smile. I signed an NDA, so I can't say. Just assume I lost weight by doing aerobics. My mom looked and looked, a bit sad, wondering if she lost weight from starving herself. Valerie said she ate normally and didn't starve herself, as usual. Yeah, still eating big meals, just a bit less than at home. As the saying goes, weight loss is 30% exercise and 70% diet. She didn't control her diet, nor did she follow online diets. Relying on a few hours of live-streamed aerobics every day, can you lose 80 pounds in 10 days? It's simply incredible. All these issues must stem from their secrets. 10 more days passed. I returned to the live stream. Without the text on the screen, I almost didn't recognize which one was Valerie. She now weighs 140 pounds, lost another 80 pounds. The live stream's popularity is picking up. Damn, I swear. 20 days ago, the heaviest one was over 300 pounds. Photoshopped. Instant fail. Huh, you must have changed people, losing over 100 gene in 20 days. Who are you trying to fool? I have a screen recording to prove it's the same person. You can even tell by looking at the ears. The live stream's chat is getting heated. I have no mood to watch. This is indeed Valerie. However, she has heavy dark circles under her eyes. Even with concealer, they are still clearly visible. The people in the live stream clearly noticed as well. The host explained that they didn't sleep well. After the broadcast, my mom called Valerie for a video chat as usual. Valerie was humming a tune on the other end. She claimed she was about to become a goddess. I asked my mom to prepare those pretty little dresses for her. She'll be back in 10 days to wear them. My mom got so excited that she went to the mall and bought her a dozen dresses that very day. She glanced at me. Renee, I think your sister will definitely be prettier than you once she loses weight. Don't always act like you're so great just because you went to college. I bet Valerie will marry better than you. By then, our whole family will be relying on her. 10 days later, the training officially ended. In the live stream, all the girls who were losing weight, including Valerie, had become slim and beautiful, same as last time. The head announced the success of the weight loss plan on the spot. Their mission is complete, and they won't be accepting new students for a year. The next class schedule will be determined by chance. The comments were filled with complaints and groans. Some even said they would pay several times the tuition if they opened a class to lose weight. The organizers all declined. They claimed it was just a public welfare course, not for making money. Charging is just to motivate the students. After saying that, the broadcast ended. The next day, my mom went to pick up Valerie with the dress she bought. Out of curiosity, I went with her. Valerie has indeed changed a lot. She's a stunning beauty. She looked at me triumphantly. Renee, I was never as good as you in anything growing up, but so what? My beauty far surpasses yours, and I will definitely marry into a wealthy family in the future. She skipped ahead, holding my mother's hand. I laughed. However, her steps were a bit light and unsteady. She almost tripped several times on flat ground, as usual. My mom prepared a big table full of dishes when I got home. They were all heavy on oil, salt, and spice, which Valerie used to love. To my surprise, Valerie just glanced at them. She rushed to the bathroom and dry heaved. She let out a loud howl. Take it away, all of it. I don't want to eat any of this. My mom paused for a moment, then quickly cleared the dishes. Oh dear, Valerie, these are all the things you used to love the most. Fairies wouldn't eat this stuff. Finally, Valerie only ate a handful of vegetables to finish her lunch. She glanced sideways at my bowl. Renee, are you a pig, eating so much? But I guess, with a face like yours, no one would want you. You should eat more and turn into a pig. I shoveled a few more mouthfuls of rice into my mouth. Valerie, are you kidding? You're my sister, and if you slim down, you'll look about 50 to 60% like me. If you're insulting me, you're insulting yourself too. Valerie suddenly stood up and pointed at me. The words hadn't even come out, and I was already dizzy. She covered her head. Renee, it's all your fault. You're such a jinx. Not my problem. Valerie posts selfies on her social media every day after coming home. Someone commented, isn't it boring to post your sister's photos every day? Who hasn't seen you before? Valerie was so angry that she posted several videos to prove the photos were of herself. She successfully lost a lot of weight. A couple of days later, she posted another update on her social media. I knew it. My brother always has me in his heart. The photo was a screenshot of their chat, and the person on the other end was the guy she had a crush on. Valerie, did you really succeed in losing weight? Is that really you on social media? Yeah, bro, absolutely genuine and cute. Wow, I could tell you were special even back in school. Will you be my girlfriend? Ugh, bro, you're so blunt. Not long after posting, a mutual friend commented below, what a jerk, he's been dating someone for years, didn't you know? Block him right now, you deserve better. He was still talking about getting married last week. Valerie didn't believe it. Half an hour later, she posted another update on her social media. You're just jealous that I'm dating my brother, aren't you? I knew you had bad intentions back in school. Would my brother ever lie to me? She also posted a chat record. She directly asked the guy, and naturally, he denied it, claiming that he was just playing around with his ex and they had already broken up. As for getting married, it's just a rumor. He never considered marrying his girlfriend. He also made some toxic remarks, saying that he never had any thoughts of marriage before meeting Valerie. Valerie was completely charmed. She was planning to move in with that jerk that very night. My mom wouldn't allow it. Valerie, does that man have money? What are you going to do with nothing? You're as beautiful as a fairy now. He's not worthy of you at all. What you need to do is find a rich guy. Valerie threw a tantrum, rolling on the ground and wailing. Finally, taking advantage of my mom's distraction, I darted out the door. My mom stormed into my room and yelled at me. She said I wasn't being a good sister and didn't even try to stop my younger sister. She accused me of being selfish and always thinking only about myself. If anything happens to Valerie, I'll be the first one to blame. I take full responsibility. I replied with a few indifferent words. It's not like I gave birth to them. Why should I care? My mom was so angry she choked and almost fainted. I could only go out and pick a fight with my dad. However, my dad is a block of wood in front of outsiders, but a bully at home. The two quickly got into a heated argument. It was only after the neighborhood committee intervened that things calmed down. I chuckled to myself indoors. Tomorrow, these two will be the subject of gossip among the neighborhood aunties. After running out, Valerie moved in with the jerk. The next day, they posted on social media, holding hands. True love never arrives too late. She also deliberately posted a photo of her bare neck with 2 hickeys. Less than a week later, something went wrong. Valerie was beaten and hospitalized. When we arrived, Valerie was in agony on the hospital bed. Her hair was disheveled, and her body was covered in scratches. Another woman stood nearby, pointing at her and yelling profanities. Spittle was flying everywhere. As for her good brother, his face was swollen like a pig's head. He stood like a quail next to that woman, not daring to utter a sound. My mom pushed the woman aside and rushed to Valerie's bedside. "Oh, my poor Valerie, how did you get beaten up like this?" the woman sneered. Twisted my mother's shoulder, and slapped her across the face. "5. Are you the mother of that bitch? No wonder you look like one too. Today, I'm here to rid the world of scum. Let's see how you 2 bitches can seduce anyone now." Valerie let out a loud wail, her eyes filled with sorrow as she looked at the jerk. "Brother, tell him, we are truly in love. Tell him you don't love him, you love me." The woman slapped the jerk hard with a loud smack. The jerk's mouth bled, and he pointed at Valerie. Cursing, "What are you talking about? It was you who seduced me. My wife and I have a great relationship. If it weren't for you, how could I have done something so wrong to her? You shameless bitch, homewrecker." It was only then that my mother came to her senses after that slap. He sprang up and struck the woman. Soon the two were locked in a scuffle. I only regret not having brought any melon seeds. The doctors and nurses couldn't hold them back, so they called the police. My mom and that woman were both taken away. They got into a fight and will be detained for a few days. Valerie cries her eyes out at home every day. She's acting like the heroine of a young adult melodrama. She eagerly awaits that jerk to contact her every day. After my mom was released, she even blamed my mom for starting the fight that day. So what if that woman hit me? My brother was just threatened. "If you make such a scene at the police station, my brother will never talk to me again, Mom. It's not like I'm blaming you, but you've lived for decades, yet you're still so immature and unable to keep your cool." With a loud slap, my mom raised her hand and struck Valerie's face hard. This was the first time in over 20 years that my mom had laid a hand on Valerie. This act of violence wasn't trivial. It knocked Valerie unconscious. My mom was frantically calling for an ambulance, crying. She insisted she hadn't used any force. Going to the hospital wasn't a big deal. They just said it was malnutrition. Valerie's weight has dropped again. She weighs less than 90 pounds. At 5 feet 7 inches tall, she weighs less than 90 pounds. After returning home, my mom made up for it by preparing a big feast of meat and fish for her. Valerie still ran to the bathroom to vomit at the smell. She said she can't stand the smell of grease at all. Her appetite has shrunk again. She used to eat a fistful of vegetables, but now she can only manage a spoonful. My mom is really worried, forced her to eat a large bowl of food, unexpectedly. As soon as she ate it, she vomited it all out. It sprayed all over the table. Before my dad could eat a few bites, the food was completely ruined. He flipped the table. "Fuck it, if you can't eat, get out. And you, old woman," she said she can't eat. "Why are you forcing her?" Valerie is eating less and less. A month later, she couldn't even eat a spoonful of food, eating a little and vomiting a little. Her weight has dropped drastically. She's become skin and bones. My mom wants to take Valerie to the hospital for a checkup. Valerie flatly refused, saying nonchalantly, "This is perfectly normal for me. 70-something pounds is just right, and I look stunning on camera, unlike that fat pig Renee." She glanced at me with a sneer. "Renee, you're so fat. Who would want you? Aren't you going to lose weight?" Oh my God. I'm developing a phobia of pigs. I can even smell the grease just by looking at you. Yes, you're the thinnest, but even when you're as skinny as a stick, your Mr. Right still hasn't shown up. Valerie fantasizes every day about meeting a Mr. Right who is powerful, wealthy, handsome, and tall. Not eating wasn't just because she couldn't stomach it. There's another reason. She wants to be a fairy, and fairies only need dew to survive. Her current goal is to develop in the direction of being able to feel full on just dew. I glanced at Valerie's ID. She's indeed 22 years old. One would think she's only 5. What on earth is going on in her mind? Could someone really be this stupid? Must have a brain as smooth as a billiard ball. But Valerie wasn't the only one with this idea. The other girls from the weight loss camp all had the same thought. I checked the ages of those people when I signed up. They were all in their 20s, no doubt. The youngest was 19. How could anyone have such a ridiculous idea? Do you really think you can become an immortal? Another half month has passed. Valerie's weight is almost down to 70 pounds. Her complexion is unnaturally pale. She spends her days lying in bed, posting selfies and videos. Her friends on social media urged her to eat more. They said she was frighteningly thin. Not only did she not listen, but she also lashed out at them. They said they were jealous of her beauty. I shook my head. Valerie was beyond saving, but I didn't expect there were people who liked her skinny frame. She has a follower on her Douyin account. He praises her enthusiastically every day. Valerie quickly fell in love with him. I watched Valerie's live stream on Douyin, hardly anyone else. Just her boyfriend who goes crazy every day showering her with gifts, generously spending. That noon, Valerie excitedly told us, "Mom and Dad, I'm about to become someone important, just wait and enjoy the good life." The corners of his mouth immediately dropped when he looked at me. "As for you, Renee, don't even think about it. I don't want to bring you along for the good times." 6. Oh, she said her boyfriend would come to see her this afternoon. He will also bring him to our house to meet the parents. Valerie clasped her hands together and closed her eyes. "You have no idea how handsome he is. I hear he's a young master from some wealthy family. He loves me so much. He won't marry anyone but me. I have a hunch there's something fishy going on here, but what does it have to do with me? I'm curious to see how Valerie will get into trouble." 12. That night, Valerie brought her boyfriend home. Indeed, he's a wealthy young master. He has an extraordinary demeanor, good looks, and is dressed in brands I don't recognize. He brought several large bags with him when he came over. There were several bottles of mithai, which delighted my dad immensely. At the dinner table, he barely ate anything. Valerie didn't eat either. The two of them were cozying up in their chairs. After much hesitation, my mom still tried to persuade them. "Ethan, Valerie really needs to eat. You should try to persuade her properly. I know that for your wealthy family, children are the most important. Valerie's current state isn't good for having kids either." Ethan rubbed his knuckles and smiled. "Auntie, don't worry about that. When Valerie marries into our family, she'll have the best nutritionist to take care of her health." Although it was quick, I caught a glimpse of a murderous intent in his eyes. I assure you, I didn't misjudge. I hurriedly ate a few mouthfuls of rice and prepared to go back to my room. Ethan called out to me, "Valerie, could you wait a moment?" I froze, stopping in my tracks. "You're Renee, right? Would you be interested in joining Valerie and coming to the Shin family? I have a brother." He paused and said with a smile, "He likes girls with Valerie's body type, just like me. If you want to join the Shin family, you need to lose weight." Before I could say anything, Valerie was upset. She tugged at Ethan's sleeve and pouted. "Brother, why are you even bothering with her? Even though she's my sister, she's always against me. I don't want to see her at the Shin's house. I hate her." I hastily said, "I have no intention of marrying into a wealthy family. You guys take your time eating." I rushed back to my room and locked the door. I leaned against the wall, gasping for breath, cold sweat soaking my back. Ethan's gaze from just moments ago still echoed in my mind, ice cold to the bone, like a lurking beast. He looked at Valerie as if she were food. I shuddered, not daring to think further. In the middle of the night, while going to the bathroom, I heard a noise coming from Valerie's room. Brother, don't you like my figure? Why won't you even touch me when I'm completely naked?" Ethan swallowed hard. "Valerie, the Shin family is a respectable one. I won't touch you until you're officially part of the family." I felt a shiver run down my spine and quickly went into the bathroom. As I stepped out, I saw Ethan standing quietly by the door in the moonlight. "What a coincidence, Renee." He gave me a quick grin. Hello. I stepped past him, ready to head back to my room. "Do you have something against the Shin family? Why have you been avoiding me? Or, have you discovered something?" Ethan stood behind me, softly uttering those words. My hair stood on end instantly, cold sweat poured down my back, my mind raced, and the words just came out. "You're Valerie's fiancé, so you should avoid any suspicion. Besides, I never liked her to begin with. So that extends to you too. I'm sorry." I ran back to my room without looking back. As the door closed, I saw Ethan looking at me with a half smile. A chill ran down my spine, as if I was being watched by a predator. Goosebumps rose on my arm. I rubbed my hands together, climbed into bed, and pulled the covers over me. It's safer under the covers. At least they'll be gone tomorrow. The next day, my mom was eager for them to get married immediately. Whether she holds the wedding or not doesn't matter. They must get the certificate first. Ethan, however, said it wasn't urgent and wanted to go home to find someone to calculate an auspicious date. 13. Watching the luxury car drive away, the tension finally eased. The Shin family is too intimidating. My mom looked at me with her nose in the air. "Valerie is the one with real talent. What good are you? Our family's prosperity depends on your sister, but I won't take you to the Shin family, so Valerie doesn't get annoyed." I shook my head and walked quickly forward. "Enjoy the Shin family's wealth at your leisure." Half a month later, Valerie and Ethan got their marriage certificate. There's no news about the wedding. Ethan quickly sent someone to pick up his parents. He also wanted to take me with him before leaving. "Renee, you'll have endless wealth and luxury if you come to the Shin family. Even if you don't marry in, it's good to live in." I waved my hand. "Forget it. I won't go and annoy anyone. If I go, Valerie will get angry again." And you don't want that, do you? I quickly packed up and headed to the office. I applied for employee housing from the company. I dare not live alone at home anymore. I'm afraid I'll be kidnapped in a sack in the middle of the night. At first, they went to the Shin family and bragged about it like crazy on WeChat moments. Later, they gradually stopped posting updates. A colleague asked me. I always said my family was enjoying a good life with my sister. One night 3 months later, I was woken up by my phone ringing. It was Valerie calling. I wouldn't answer at this hour. 7. It can't be anything good. She didn't seem ready to give up. Calling again and again. The third one rang twice before being hung up. The next morning, I finally called her back. As expected, it was Ethan who picked up. I asked him what was going on, as I had slept too deeply to answer Valerie's call last night. He chuckled on the other end, not quite sure why. Nothing serious. Probably just had a nightmare in the middle of the night. If you're worried, you can come by the Shin household to check on her when you're free. I quickly refused. No, it would just lead to arguments. It's better not to see each other. After that, I never received any calls from my family. I also never searched online for any information about the weight loss camp or the other girls. Half a year later, something happened to the Shin family. It was a parent from another weight loss camp who reported the Shin family. SWAT officers surrounded their house overnight. Several girls covered in blood were rescued. Their bodies were full of gouges, as if their flesh had been scooped out with a spoon. Those girls were all participants in a weight loss camp. The only one missing was Valerie. The weight loss camp also belongs to the Shin family. They injected these overweight girls with large amounts of hormone drugs. This caused them to lose weight rapidly and gradually develop an aversion to food. They could only eat some leafy greens and drink water. All of this was to satisfy the perverse desires of the Shin family. They claimed that such girls could prolong life. One of the girls' parents noticed something amiss and volunteered to be an undercover police officer. Unfortunately, it was too late. Valerie couldn't be saved. Shin Jiachuan was arrested and put on trial. They announced that Valerie had fallen from the building, and my father was killed when she fell downstairs. The only thing I saw of them again was their urn. My mother had gone mad. She was crazy every day. I sent her to a nursing home. It won't be long before the caregivers mention that she's gone out scavenging again, out of desperation. I visited her at the nursing home. She was hugging herself, shivering. After a long while, she finally recognized me. Renee, save your sister. Your sister is being eaten. Ah, your dad has been beaten to death. Ah, every time she mentions this, she starts screaming with her hands over her head. I was sweating profusely listening to it, quickly turned and left. Story 2. After a whole day of shopping at the mall, I only spent $1. And that was just because I bought a pack of tissues to use the restroom. My stepsister was stunned. My stepmom was furious, but I just laughed, because they had linked an exchange system to me. For every dollar I spent, they earned $1. In my past life, they drove a wedge between my father and me, coaxing me into squandering money recklessly. My father was utterly disappointed in me, severed our ties, and I ended up losing both my wealth and family, reduced to handing out flyers on the streets. Not only did my stepsister inherit my father's company and fortune, but she also married my fiancé. My sister even came with my ex-fiancé to deliver the wedding invitation, saying meekly, "Sister, though you never truly treated them with sincerity, from now on, Liana will take care of Dad and Brother Holden for you. This time around, I'm making the rounds at my favorite luxury boutiques in the mall, indulging in the VIP lounge to my heart's content. You dare to mess with my fate? Fine, let's swap and see how you like it." "Sis, are you going to Grand Plaza again tomorrow?" Dad said he'll freeze your card if you keep spending. Please don't buy anything too extravagant for Brother Holden, especially watches or cars. His friends would be so jealous they'd end up ostracizing him. Stepsister Liana slipped halfway through the slightly ajar door, her face a mask of feigned innocence as if genuinely offering sisterly advice. I sat at the vanity, staring blankly at my slender, pale neck adorned with the ruby necklace from my grandmother, a symbol of the Dai family's legacy. Eventually, that very necklace ended up in the hands of her and her mother, and it was draped around Liana's neck on her wedding day. The sound snapped me out of the overwhelming astonishment of my rebirth. In my past life, after hearing my stepsister's heartfelt advice, I was completely consumed by anger over my father and stepsister speaking ill of me behind my back, while also craving the spotlight at Holden's birthday celebration. The next morning, the moment the mall opened, I rushed over and went on a shopping spree. Not only did I buy him a watch worth over 500,000, but I also decked myself out head to toe in the latest collection. The whole haul set me back more than 800,000, not to mention covering the entire night's expenses for Holden at the Royal Court 5-star hotel. including the sauna services and presidential suite his crew specifically requested. That single night cost over $1 million. They kept calling me sister-in-law, and with each flattering word, I was so over the moon I could barely find my way home. 1. How outrageous. How dare Dad say that about me? Don't worry, I won't let anyone look down on Brother Holden. I deliberately put on a domineering, angry expression. Seeing that I had taken the bait, Liana sneered inwardly, thinking, what a fool. Yet, she gently advised, Dad only said that because he wants me to keep an eye on you, but I'm sure you know your limits. She really has a talent for adding fuel to the fire. Every word they said was meant to stir up my resentment toward my father. I waited until Liana had gone back to her own room. Only then did I get up, swiftly lock the door, gently remove the necklace from my neck, and place it, along with some other expensive jewelry from the room, into the backpack I planned to take with me the next day. This time, I wasn't going to leave these behind for someone else to take advantage of. Only when the noise outside had completely died down did I tiptoe to my stepmother's door and press my ear against it, listening to the conversation inside, with Dad away on a business trip. Only Liana and my stepmother Sasha were in there. You are way too reckless today. How could you just agree to buy Holden a house? It's not some trivial few $1,000s. We're talking millions here. Mom, I'm doing this to keep him stringing along that fool Daphne. I guarantee she'll drop at least $1 million or $2 million tomorrow. I told his buddies to go all out with the most expensive plans for tomorrow night. It's not like that idiot won't foot the bill anyway. Though Daphne's soul had been trapped in Liana's ruby necklace due to their bloodline connection after her previous death, witnessing plenty of Liana's schemes, hearing her calculated plans firsthand still infuriated her, trying to make me spend my money. Fine, let's see who can actually get me to open my wallet in this lifetime. Just like in my past life, I rushed through my morning routine and slipped into Dad's room, pretending to stealthily pocket his black card. Little did they know, I'd already spotted my stepmother lurking around the corner, watching my every move, as if worried I might fail to steal it. This time, I didn't just take Dad's black card, I also grabbed the savings passbook he'd tucked away, the one my mother had left for me. I only found out about that card after I died. Dad was afraid I'd squander it and wanted to wait until I turned 18 to give it to me. Little did he know it would end up benefiting Sasha and her mother. After slipping the card into my bag, I deliberately acted nervous and glanced around, making sure they got a full view of my acting skills. Then I had the driver take me to the mall. Liana watched me take the card and leave. Then she started getting dolled up herself. She was going to sign the house purchase contract with Brother Holden today. The down payment of $850,000 nearly wiped out her entire savings, all because of my recent impulsive shopping spree. But she's not the least bit worried about running out of money, because she knows I'll definitely spend it, as long as the fate exchange system is still in place. She doesn't worry about being broke. After all, she traded 20 years of her life for my Phoenix Destiny fortune. Every penny I spend, she earns, but that also means every penny I earn, she loses. Still, once I'm completely broke, the fate exchange ritual will be complete, and I'll be free from her control. That's why she needs someone like Holden to keep me in check. She wants me to fall for him and never be able to recover, but she doesn't know that after my rebirth, I can also hear the same system notifications as her. Every time she makes a transaction, I get a bullet screen notification about it. So when I was lounging with my legs crossed in the VIP room of Baba's mansion, enjoying the desserts and black tea served by the shopping assistant, and a notification popped up about an $850,000 yuan expense, I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Now that's what I call a generous birthday gift they were secretly carrying on in this very room in their past lives. And to think I actually helped facilitate their affair. After tonight, with her financial support cut off, let's see how they'll manage to pay their mortgage. Liana quickly completed the home purchase procedures, though she couldn't shake this uneasy premonition. Speaking of which, Daphne has been at the mall for so long. How hasn't she made a single purchase yet? She checked the time. It's almost noon. Normally, a whole morning would be enough for her to go on a shopping spree. Liana poked at her steak impatiently. What's up with Liana today? She seems so distracted, Holden asked softly as he reached over to cut her steak into smaller pieces. Frankly speaking, Liana isn't as good-looking as Daphne. Daphne has fair, dewy skin and large, expressive eyes, with just a hint of baby fat that gives her a youthful, almost adolescent appearance. In contrast, Liana's complexion is somewhat sallow, and her slender, petite frame makes her look delicate, almost as if she's undernourished. But she's the one who just paid for his 4-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment in the city center. He'd cradle even a piece of crap in his hands, treating it with the utmost care. Maybe you should give Daphne a call. She rushed out in such a hurry this morning and isn't replying to my messages. I'm really worried something might have happened to her. Liana gazed at Holden with tender affection. Yes. Let him see. Maybe it'll stir things up and give Daphne a little nudge. I'm at the third handbag store now, and wow, these new arrivals are absolutely stunning. I'm seriously tempted to splurge on one. Just as I was thoroughly enjoying myself, Holden's call came through, and I suddenly remembered I'd forgotten to disable his utterly nauseating custom ringtone. I was about to decline the call when it hit me. Ending it too quickly would spoil all the fun, wouldn't it? Clearing my throat, I put on a sugary voice and answered, "Hello, Holden, dear, how are you?" Liana and the other person were visibly disgusted by my sickly sweet tone but managed to choke out, "Daphne, I just feel like I haven't seen you in ages. It's my birthday party tonight. Will you come keep me company?" His gentle tone reached my ears. I took a sip of the floral tea offered by the sales assistant before replying, "If Holden misses me, of course I'll be there, too." I almost spat out the tea I'd just sipped, disgusted by my own sugary words. "Then let's meet at the Royal Court Hotel at 8 tonight. Don't bring anything. Just you showing up would make me happy. I don't care what others think of me." This time, the sickeningly sweet talk actually made me spray my tea. After hanging up, it dawned on me, I can't just stop spending money altogether just because Liana has no income. My quality of life wouldn't just take a hit. It'd be like winning the battle but losing the war. My cheerful mood from this morning suddenly turned gloomy. How can I spend money without adding to Liana's assets? Suddenly, an idea flashed through my mind. I immediately went over to the lottery machine on the first floor and spent 100 yuan to buy 5 scratch-off tickets. Less than 3 seconds after payment, a 100 yuan income popped up on the bullet screen. I rummaged through my pockets and bag but couldn't find anything hard like a coin. Luckily, a staff member nearby handed me a scraper. Scratched the first one, nothing. Scratched the second one, hey, 20 yuan, broke even on that one. Scratched the third and fourth, another 20 yuan each, lost on one of those. Finally, scratched the fifth one, whoa, 80 yuan, so I actually broke even and made 20 bucks. I scratched off the tickets one by one, watching the notifications pop up, a 20 yuan payout, another 20, and then an 80, hey, I'm up 20. That means even if I spend this 20, she'd just break even on her end. As long as I only spend what I earn and don't go over, she'll never be able to get any savings from me. The more I earn, the poorer she becomes. But now I'm stuck again. How on earth can I make money? I'm really at a loss for ideas, especially since I didn't earn a single penny in my past life. I've decided to just take it easy for now. These things can't be rushed, so I treated myself to a simple fried rice and a pack of tissues. Total came to 21 bucks, though the flavor was basic. Paying with my own hard-earned money gave me such a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Liana, still waiting for the income notification, was pacing anxiously around the room. She had urged Holden to wait in the hotel lobby much earlier. As the brothers gradually arrived, Daphne finally made her appearance before everyone. Holden glanced at Daphne's empty hands, then peered incredulously behind her a few more times. No gifts, no attendants carrying anything. Could it be? Did she really not prepare a gift for herself? That can't be. She must have a surprise plan that just hasn't arrived yet. Holden quickly came up with an excuse to console himself. He put on a smile again and walked up to them. "Holden, I went through all the trouble of getting dressed up and putting on makeup just to celebrate your birthday. Don't you think I look pretty today?" After saying that, I deliberately twirled around to show off, wearing nothing but a dress and some simple accessories, not even carrying a purse. I had already stored my bag and personal belongings back at the mall. Holden forced an awkward smile and said, "I'm just glad you could make it. Daphne, let's head up, everyone else is already here." I watched the elevator numbers climb floor by floor until it stopped at the top level. It seems the lack of earnings this afternoon pushed Liana to her limit. She went all out and upgraded us to the most expensive presidential suite. As I looked at each familiar face, a surge of hatred welled up inside me. Every one of them was an accomplice. They're all blood-sucking parasites who deserve to rot in the gutter. "You look absolutely stunning today, sis. No wonder Holden couldn't wait downstairs. It's you. Who else could make him this eager? Don't tease my sister like that. She was just setting up a surprise for Holden. That's why she's late, right, sis?" Liana knew I was too proud to lose face, so she deliberately put me on the spot in front of everyone. She waited for me to agree before steering the conversation to make me foot the bill for tonight. I pretended to be shy, pursing my lips and staying silent to play the role of someone sacrificing for love. Then, in a timid whisper, I replied, "Brother Holden said, I'm his best gift." I covered my face and slipped away amid the roaring laughter. Liana was a bit annoyed she couldn't get a word in, but she was confident she'd have plenty of chances to put me in my place later. Everyone thought I was blushing because they'd hit a nerve, but the truth is, I was afraid I'd get too into the act and burst out laughing, watching the hotel staff bustling in and out with one Michelin-starred dish after another. I quietly did the math in my head. Holy smokes. Just one meal must cost at least 7 or 8,000 per person. With this many people, we're looking at blowing 4 or 500,000. Even though I'd been feasting all day and wasn't really hungry by then, it'd be a shame to pass up free food. I'm not just eating, I'm having a couple extra drinks too. How else is my dear little sister going to get her chance if I don't drink? In my past life, I drank from the cup she handed me and felt dizzy after just a few sips. I ended up lying in the same room with Holden, my clothes in disarray. After the incident, Holden immediately promised to marry me once he achieved success in his career. I foolishly believed our wedding was just around the corner. Later, he repeatedly asked me for money, using excuses like his business was struggling or his mother was hospitalized. I kept giving him money, again and again, like a fool, until my father disowned me and kicked me out. Watching Liana walk over calmly with that cup in her hand, as if she could pull the same trick again in this lifetime. Let's see who outsmarts him this time. Sis, you should go wish Holden a happy birthday. Here, have this glass. It's low-alcohol champagne, and the pink color will look gorgeous in photos. She raised the camera in her other hand, signaling she wanted to take our picture. She really gets me. Knows I'm a sucker for anything cute and pink. Sure, I took the glass from her. Make sure you get a good shot. Okay, I held the glass and linked arms with Holden, trying out a few poses. Just as I was about to let go, someone pulled us closer, and I froze, glass still raised. Thank you all so much for coming to my birthday celebration today. This is truly an unforgettable experience for me, and I'm grateful for everyone who's here to share it with me. Holden looked at me with heartfelt emotion as he spoke, raising his glass to propose a toast to everyone. If this wasn't premeditated, I wouldn't believe they could coordinate so perfectly. I raised my glass high and downed the entire drink in one go. Only after seeing me drink did Liana cheerfully pick up her own glass and down it in one go. Setting down the glass, I silently counted to 3 in my head, then stumbled slightly before quickly slipping into the restroom just as Holden moved to steady me, missing his chance to grab me. Holden shot Liana a meaningful look before casually heading off to another room. Catching his drift, Liana followed me into the restroom. Her legs felt a bit weak, but she brushed it off, focused on finishing the job so she could openly call for me to pay the bill. She just didn't expect to see me calmly washing my hands the moment she entered the restroom, without a trace of drowsiness. "Are you okay, sis?" she asked as she approached me. "I'm fine. Did you need something, little sister?" I smiled at her. Liana grew uneasy under my gaze, a sense of foreboding washing over her as she turned to alert Holden. "Oh dear, I'm feeling so dizzy, everything's spinning around me." I stopped joking, wiped the smile off my face, and feigned dizziness and unsteadiness, all to buy a little more time for the others outside. Overjoyed, Liana rushed to support my arm, and I took the chance to lean my full weight on her. Her legs were already weak, and this extra pressure made it almost unbearable. She barely managed to drag me to the door. She collapsed before even making it out. Perfect, it's working. If I didn't prepare after being reborn, this second chance would be wasted. I secretly switched the wine while she was busy pouring and fiddling with the camera. With Holden, I bet they've already slept together. Isn't he into the ladies' sauna? Make it happen. Holden had just entered the room and hadn't even sat down when the door started pounding. He opened it to find a staff member standing there. "Sir, Miss Liana asked me to tell you to come to room 102. She said it's too far for her to bring it over herself. You'll know what she means." The waiter left after speaking, and Holden didn't think much of it. Liana was scrawny, and dragging the unconscious Daphne around was both strenuous and too conspicuous. He closed the door and headed toward the room at the other end. The rooms were situated on either side of the banquet hall, and though they were on the same floor, they still felt quite private. I supported Liana and hid around the corner, watching Holden enter room 2 before quickly guiding her back to the original room. Seeing the room, which was decorated exactly as it had been in my previous life, a wave of fury erupted like a flash flood. I immediately changed Liana's dress into a hotel bathrobe, turned off the lights on my way out, and left the door slightly ajar. I stepped out and casually pulled a server aside, pointing at someone while whispering a few instructions in their ear. Then I returned to my seat, ready to enjoy the show. Sure enough, the moment the server finished speaking, that person's face twisted into a menacing expression. Rubbing their hands together, they hurried toward the room. After all that commotion, I actually started feeling hungry. I asked the server to take away the cold meal and bring a fresh steak. In high spirits, I slowly savored every bite. Holden waited for quite a while but saw no one, and a sense of unease crept over him. Just as he stepped into the hall, he spotted me chatting and laughing with others, looking perfectly fine. He scanned the room but couldn't find Liana anywhere, and a bad feeling washed over him. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the lively atmosphere in the hall. A woman wrapped in a bathrobe dashed out of a room, though her disheveled state revealed glimpses of skin. The vivid red marks on her neck were even more eye-catching. Right behind her, a man stumbled out, his clothes in disarray, frantically trying to pull up his pants. Deep red scratches from fingernails covered her chest and shoulders. "Whoa, you two really know how to have fun. What kind of special hobby is this?" Amid mocking laughter and teasing whistles, Liana was so wrong this time that she couldn't stop crying. It's not like that. I was just resting in my room when he barged in and tried to take advantage of me. Liana had no idea how she ended up passing out, and now it was even harder to explain. Thank goodness she woke up quickly, or her reputation would have been ruined. Who's trying to violate you? The door was wide open, and you were lying there looking all seductive. Who knows what you were thinking? Maybe you just wanted to pin this on me, the man shamelessly argued. Knowing he hadn't lost out in the situation, Holden was completely exasperated, but he knew it wasn't the time to argue. He could only take off his coat and drape it over Liana, skillfully guiding the sobbing woman back to her room to change clothes. Are you kidding? The show's over, time to make a quick exit. Why stick around and risk being taken for a fool? Everyone's attention was fixed on the trio, while I quietly packed a box full of pastries to take away. I took my time riding the elevator downstairs. The driver's car was still waiting, so I had him drive back to the original mall before dismissing him for the day. I don't trust a single person in this household right now, especially since we still haven't uncovered who was responsible for my father's death in his previous life. I can't afford to let my guard down. Just as I retrieved my stored belongings and turned on my phone, it lit up with countless missed calls from Holden and Liana. Looks like they finally noticed the cash cow is gone. Now they're starting to panic. Unfortunately, I've got important matters to attend to and no time to deal with them. After leaving the mall, I hailed a cab straight to the nearest real estate development. First, to find myself a comfortable place to stay, and second, because in my past life, property prices here skyrocketed due to economic development. The unit Liana bought later appreciated to over 10 million. Not only do I want to make it impossible for them to pay their mortgage, but more importantly, I need to buy 2 properties myself first. The sales office was eerily quiet late at night, with only 2 staff members on duty. Can't you see all that dust? Clean it up now. A pot-bellied man stood with his hands on his hips, barking orders at a female colleague in uniform, forcing her to kneel and wipe down the architectural models in the display. Just another piece of trash abusing what little authority he has to torment others. In my previous life, when I was down on my luck, I finally landed a flyer distribution job, but that male manager kept shifting the goalposts. No standing indoors, no staying in the shade, making me roast under the sun all day, just to get a cheap thrill from seeing me drenched in sweat and humiliated. You there? Show me the property. I walked over and firmly helped the embarrassed woman to her feet. She gave me a grateful smile and quickly straightened her clothes. This way, miss. Please have a seat and wait here for a moment. With that, she hurried off, returning shortly with a stack of property listings and a cup of hot tea. Please take a look to see if any of the floor plans interest you. I'll grab the keys and show you around in a moment. You can call me Clara. I watched this person, noticeably older than me, adopt a humble demeanor, clearly cherishing this unexpected business opportunity. So you're Clara, my surname is Dye. I'd like to see either a 3-bedroom 2-bath or 4-bedroom 2-bath unit with a southern exposure. The layout needs to be practical with good natural lighting. While penthouse duplexes hold more value, they're actually harder to sell later on. A practical smaller unit is better. It sells faster and converts to cash more easily. The male manager had been eavesdropping nearby. Realizing the young woman was viewing properties alone late at night, he immediately started scheming to take advantage of the situation. Why don't you go tidy up over there, Clara? I'll handle things here, the shameless manager said as he pushed his way closer, physically nudging Clara aside. Just tell me which units meet my requirements. Grab all the keys. We're going to see them now, I said directly to Clara, ignoring the unpleasant look on his face. Sorry, but in this second life of mine, I'm not wasting time on trash like him. Miss Dye, this way please. We currently have 2 good options with nice orientation and floor levels, Unit 1605 in Phase 2 and Unit 2201 in Phase 3. Both are 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom units. There's also a 4-bedroom one. She lowered her voice and leaned in slightly, saying, the old lady across from that unit is always making trouble, hoards trash. The hallway's smelly and messy. She's got a terrible temper too. If you have other choices, it's not worth seeing that one. All right, I'll go with your suggestion. I have a soft spot for people who know how to show gratitude. Both units have excellent layout and square footage. It's hard to judge the natural lighting at night, but since neither is on a low floor, it shouldn't be an issue. Miss Dye, both units are priced at the current market rate of 16,000 per square meter with our new development promotion. Each unit comes with a free parking space. It's really quite a good deal. Let's lock in both units then. Here's my ID card. Go ahead and prepare the paperwork. The quote seemed fair, with no attempt to overcharge or give arbitrary numbers despite my young age. Okay, so Miss Dye, are we going with installments or paying in full? Clara's voice trembled with excitement. She never expected to close the deal so quickly, and for 2 units. Xiaobao's medical expenses for the next 2 months are covered, actually. The money in that card Mom left is more than enough to buy both apartments outright, but I don't want the money I'm spending now to end up as savings in Liana's pocket. Those two are probably arguing over tonight's bill right now. Well, here's the money, go ahead and spend it. Let's see how you'll pay me back later. Installment plans, minimum of 3 payments, right, for both units. What's the down payment? Sure, Ms. Day. The down payment is 30%. For Unit 1605, 180 SQM, it's 864,000. For 2201, 192 SQM, it's 921,600. Total comes to 1,785,600. Here's the contract for your review. That amount is almost the same as what Holden spent tonight. Holden was pacing like an ant on a hot pan, too frantic to even comfort the still sobbing Liana. Call Daphne again. How are we supposed to settle the bill now that she's gone? Over $1 million. Stop crying already and think of something. Liana was utterly frustrated tonight. Not only did her plan backfire, but she also ended up in this mess. She could clearly sense Holden's disapproving gaze. No idea what's up with that damn girl. Aside from a few small purchases of just, she barely spent anything all day. That's totally unlike her usual self. The two of them hid in the room, too scared to step out and face the staff with the bill. But hiding away wasn't solving anything either. Holden was absolutely livid, convinced that since Liana started this mess, she should be the one to face the consequences. One moment he was pressuring Liana to contact Daphne, the next he was telling her to squeeze money out of someone else. My selfish stepmother only ever spends money on herself. She's never spared a penny for her own daughter, but her precious daughter is something else. The fate exchange system allows trades using close relatives, and Liana traded 20 years of her mother's life for my financial luck. Did you really think she'd give up 20 years of her own life that easily, like father, like son? Just as Liana was at her wit's end and about to ask her mother for help, the system finally popped up with a series of payment notifications. Received a payment of 250,000 yuan. Received a payment of 200,000 yuan. Received a payment of 180,000 yuan. Received a payment of 360,000 yuan. Liana felt the sound of the incoming payment in her mind was like heavenly music. Watching the constant stream of payment notifications popping up, her eyes lit up with excitement. It's spent, $1 million already, and it's still climbing. The final amount settled at 8 million. Where could Daphne possibly be spending that much money so late at night? Or was there a delay with the afternoon deposit? Liana can't make sense of this system either. It's a shame there's no way to chat or look up the reason for the payment. All she knows is that with the money secured, her mind is at ease. Brother Holden, I can cover your bill tonight, but I want Daphne and that man from earlier to pay for this. Find someone to teach them a lesson. Liana had calmed down, realizing this was no coincidence. She was determined to make them suffer. Hearing that she'd foot the bill, Holden couldn't agree fast enough. He immediately hugged, kissed, and comforted her, though his eyes kept drifting to the faint red marks on her neck. The payment notification had barely arrived 5 minutes ago, and already it had turned into a hefty expense. Soaking in the hotel bathtub, I couldn't help but laugh. This is your last supper, better enjoy it while you can. It's been 2 days since my rebirth, and I finally have time to properly plan how to generate profits quickly enough to make Liana suffer the consequences and end this exchange. The property market isn't something that changes overnight. What we need now is fast transactions. Quick liquidation, substantial returns. I picked up the new phone I'd just bought, inserted a new SIM card, and called my dad. Unfortunately, he must still be on a business trip and didn't answer. After some thought, I ended up calling him from my old phone. Still no answer, but this time I sent him a text from that phone too. I'm sure he'll reply when he sees it. After washing up, I lay in bed reminiscing about what had happened around this time in my past life. While logging back into my social media accounts on my new phone, suddenly, it hit me, a flash of inspiration. At that time, the Lala doll blind boxes weren't very popular yet, but the following month, a celebrity's performance suddenly made them a huge hit. The exact style and collab version they wore skyrocketed in value overnight, some increasing by tens or even hundreds of times. They became so sought after that finding one on the resale market was nearly impossible. So I can buy them now and resell them later. That's a surefire way to make a killing. I quickly checked. The concert is less than a week away. I need to get moving. Good thing the paperwork for my new place will be sorted soon, or I'd have nowhere to store all this stuff. The next morning, I left the rest of my things in the hotel safe. Just grabbed my bag and phone to head home. After last night's drama, I had to play along, didn't I? As soon as I stepped inside, I saw Liana with red-rimmed eyes, clinging to her stepmother's arm on the sofa. The moment she spotted me, her eyes welled up even more, and tears began to fall like clockwork. Daphne, I'm not one to criticize, but Liana is your sister after all. Last night, she was treated so horribly and left covered in bruises. Even if you couldn't stand up for her, you shouldn't have just abandoned her and run off. Sasha had just heard from her daughter that I'd left without paying the bill. And she ended up covering over $1 million in charges. No wonder she's so upset about the money. Are you blaming me, sis? After Holden brought me to the room, he went out to look for you. I had no idea you'd already left on your own. I have to say, Liana's skill in twisting the story truly surpasses even her master. When you threw yourself into his arms, did it even cross your mind that I'm your sister? I feigned anger, slammed my bag down, and stormed straight to my room. Perfect. This totally fits my hopeless romantic persona. After tossing my purse onto the couch, the first thing I did was pack the remaining valuables into my bag. With Dad not home, I had to take the jewelry Mom left behind too. Thank goodness the house is under Dad's name, but I need to secure these easily liquidated assets, the jewelry and bank cards, before that mother-daughter duo tries to snatch everything when they're desperate for cash. You're just taking advantage of me because I have no mother to defend me, aren't you? Everyone knows Holden is my fiancé, yet you still throw yourself at him half-dressed. What will people think of me when they see this? The mother and daughter sat on the sofa, watching me dart between the room and the master bedroom while muttering complaints. One trip to retrieve Mom's brocade wedding dress. Another trip to grab the gold and jewelry from the safe. A final trip to secure Dad's 2 luxury watches. The act's getting old. I'll stuff what I can into my bag and lock up the rest in the cabinet. I slammed the door shut with a loud bang. Don't even try to win me over. Without that VL limited edition Birkin bag, you're not getting my forgiveness. I dropped my rehearsed lines, grabbed my bag stuffed with cash, and strutted out the door. Uncle Wang, the driver, dropped me off at another mall as I got out of the car. Our eyes met. He seemed to want to say something but finally just said, "Take care, miss. I checked last night. This Lala flagship store is the largest in the city, so they should have the most complete selection. I'm not worried that Liana won't buy me the bag. Are you kidding? She's still trying to squeeze money out of me. No way she'd risk me cutting her off. Perfect. I'll help cover some of her expenses, and she'll buy me a bag in return. The money ends up right back with me. Heh. I've snapped up all the hottest items from my past life memories that were in stock, and picked out some styles I like to decorate my new home. I've set the delivery address to the new place. I gave Clara from the sales office a call to schedule the paperwork, and asked her to help sign for the shipment and have it placed on the 22nd floor. I also requested that she remember to change the locks for me. After all, with so many people around, you never know who might still have a copy of the old keys. Even though I haven't moved in yet, this batch of items is quite valuable. Clara agreed right away. After all, I'm the client who earned her a hefty commission. Even the mail manager only dares to make snide remarks behind her back now, not openly bully her anymore. She's so grateful she insisted on working the night shift that evening, which gave her the chance to meet such a benefactor. Tired from walking, she found a restaurant to rest and eat. The moment she sat down and looked up, she spotted an old acquaintance. Well, if it isn't her dear sister and her fiancé, she was just worrying about how to make them spend some money, and here they are, delivered right to her doorstep. I pinched my thigh hard, held back the pain, and squeezed out 2 tears. And you still say you haven't wronged me? Last night, hugging each other naked was an accident. But now having a fancy French dinner together, don't tell me someone forced you into this too. Liana felt like she was having a string of bad luck lately. This morning, when she tried to ask her mom for some money, she ran into Daphne throwing a fit and demanding a Birkin bag. Over 300,000 yuan. Where would she even get that kind of money? Hearing the system notification that she had spent over 100,000 again, Liana was both jealous and thrilled. That brat is so lucky. How does someone with no brains get to live such a charmed life? After pestering her mom for what felt like forever, she finally transferred 200,000 yuan. The money hadn't even warmed her pocket before it turned into a Birkin bag. Liana loved the bag herself. She swung her hips as she carried it off to her date with Holden. I couldn't believe it. We just sat down when I heard Daphne's voice. She never comes to this mall. What are the odds we'd all be here today? Holden immediately stood up and pulled the chattering Daphne aside. Seeing the strange looks from other diners, he knew he couldn't let her ramble on. Who knows what kind of rumors would spread by tomorrow. Before their food even arrived, Holden was already leading Daphne out. Liana trailed behind unsteadily, looking so upset she might burst into tears any second. Why would Daphne think that of me? Liana only asked me out to apologize for what happened last night. I was actually asking her about your preferences. As he spoke, he gently took my hands in his. I want to give you a gift to make up for my poor hospitality yesterday. Is that really true? I just knew Holden only has eyes for me, fighting the urge to pull my hand away from his grasp. My eyes weren't feigning innocence this time. They genuinely lit up at the mention of receiving gifts. I snatched the bag from Liana's arm and pouted. Well, since you're offering. I suppose I can reluctantly forgive you. Let's go, Holden. Time to pick up my gift. Ignoring Liana's reluctant expression, I grabbed Holden's arm and dragged him into the luxury boutique. Just kidding. When a sucker comes knocking, we've got to milk them for all they're worth. I rarely come to these brand stores, but the selection here is way better than the mall near my place. But this guy kept shooting down all the expensive pieces I picked. First saying this one doesn't suit my vibe. Then that one looks too dated. In the end, he picked out a tiny pair of earrings and claimed they were perfect for me. I laughed when I saw the $1,800 price tag, so he thinks I only deserve cheap stuff. Huh, if you don't want to get it for me, Holden, it's fine. Daphne won't be mad. I held back tears, silently cursing this stingy man. May he stay broke forever. No, Daphne, Holden just liked its meaning. But look at this one, the 4-leaf clover bracelet. It has a beautiful meaning too. Let's get this instead. He gritted his teeth and picked up the over 10,000 yuan bracelet, his heart aching at the cost. Does this collection really have such a nice meaning? I asked the sales assistant. Absolutely. Many young couples buy this design. It symbolizes unwavering love and loyalty. Ugh, how shameless. But I have to admit, this collection is pretty popular. It might even appreciate in value. Then I'll take this 5-leaf mother of pearl one. It goes well with my outfit today. Please adjust it to the right length for me. I'll just wear it out. Before anyone could stop me, I had already put on the bracelet worth over 50,000 and let the sales assistant adjust the size. His face turned pale and then flushed, but he was too proud to ask me to take it off. Liana had never received such an expensive gift from him before, and now she was so angry she ignored his desperate, hinting glances. In the end, he fumbled in his bag for a long time before pulling out his credit card to pay. When he walked out, his face was completely dark. I pretended not to notice, carrying the Birkin bag in my left hand and wearing a bracelet on my right the whole time. Oh my god, this trip was totally worth it. By the way, Daphne, what was the gift you prepared for Holden yesterday? Even though Liana was upset, she still managed to throw me under the bus at the last moment. Seems like you left without giving it to him. Since we have time now, why not show it? Holden's really looking forward to it. Holden dropped the act at this point, staring at me with eager anticipation. Well, they were setting me up all along. Didn't Holden say my presence alone was the best gift? This outfit I wore yesterday is straight from the latest runway show, and the full salon treatment for hair and nails cost me a fortune. Trying to get something out of me, not a chance. Watching their faces darken with anger, I could barely suppress my smirk. Rising on my toes, I leaned close to Holden's ear and whispered, "But I told Dad yesterday that I want to marry you. He said once you become his son-in-law, the company will naturally be yours." Though Liana couldn't make out what I said, she clearly saw Holden's expression shift from stormy to sunny, an irrepressible smile spreading across his lips. "Seeing Daphne doing well is the best gift for Brother Holden," he said with a deeply affectionate gaze. His acting was so convincing that even I had to admire it. What a waste of talent not pursuing a career in showbiz. He could have easily snagged an Oscar with skills like that. I made an excuse to keep browsing, and Holden, worried about spending money, quickly slipped away with Liana. Who knows where they went to comfort each other with some cheap, cheesy tactics. None of that was my concern at the moment. I grabbed a quick bite to eat and immediately rushed off to the next store to go on a shopping spree. There are only 3 Lala specialty stores in the city, so I'm trying to buy as much as I can in the next couple of days. The other branches are out of reach, and the online store has purchase limits. I focused on picking up some high-end items and skipped the regular stuff. After all, my budget and energy are both limited. After finishing the last batch of goods, the 2 small 3-bedroom apartments were almost completely packed, leaving only one tidied-up room as my own lounge. Liana has been living it up these past couple of days, seeing my spending of hundreds of thousands. She's been splurging on handbags and traveling everywhere, flooding her social media with one post after another. Let her enjoy spending. If the money isn't saved, she's going to be in for a rough time later. I logged into the second-hand account I pre-registered a couple of days ago, directly used Liana's lifestyle photos to create a wealthy socialite persona, making it easier to sell high-priced items, running 4 or 5 different platforms simultaneously, just waiting for tonight's concert to blow up before going all out, even managed to sneak back home for another round of craziness. Grabbing anything expensive and portable one more time, also gave Dad a quick call and left him a message. Based on the timeline from my past life, he should be returning home around now. This time, I'll be the one protecting him. Liana and Holden both flaunted their concert tickets and scenes on social media at the same time, so blatantly cozying up together, and I was foolish enough not to notice it in my previous life. Watching her account balance dwindle to just 5 digits, I smirked. "Liana, the more you laugh now, the harder you'll cry later," as the concert reached its climax. The plush toy worn by the superstar on stage unsurprisingly sparked a massive wave of excitement. All Lala online stores sold out instantly, offline specialty shops had lines stretching for blocks, scalpers were everywhere, and prices kept skyrocketing. All night long, my shops were buzzing with activity, constant inquiries and orders kept pouring in. There were also some pickup orders. I asked Clara if she wanted to take on some side gigs, offering her a 5% commission per order. Payment would be made on the spot, and goods would be handed over immediately upon receipt. Pickup transactions are limited to within the city. She was more than happy to agree, and we quickly reached a deal. For the entire following week, I didn't leave the house except to pick up food deliveries. During that time, Liana, Sasha, and Holden bombarded me with non-stop calls. Good thing I switched to a new phone ages ago. All my accounts are linked to it. They'll never be able to track anything down. The old phone vibrated non-stop in the drawer all day, until it finally gave up and shut down. I watched the stream of notifications showing my negative balance, with only a few small deposits here and there, like finding a needle in a haystack, before it all just evened out again. Seeing the screen flooded with red and the negative numbers climbing higher and higher, you can only imagine how frantic they must be. Sasha felt her body growing heavier over the past 2 days. Her entire appearance becoming haggard as if her vitality had been drained. Even a short walk left her breathless, and her skin became wrinkled and dry. Convinced she had contracted some serious illness, she kept insisting on being hospitalized for a checkup. Liana, of course, knew exactly why. Her mind had been consumed by the constant sound of spending notifications, making it nearly impossible for her to function normally or even leave the house. She frantically dialed Daphne's number. But no one ever picked up. After breaking into her room, she realized Daphne hadn't been home at all recently. In that moment, she was like a headless fly, completely oblivious to her mother's cries of distress and Holden's incoming calls. She frantically sold her handbags and jewelry, but the money she got was just a drop in the bucket. It was instantly buried under a flood of green payment notifications. In a panic, she thought of selling her house. But the newly mortgaged property was impossible to sell and wouldn't fetch much money anyway. She tricked Sasha into thinking they were going to the hospital, but after registering, she snatched Sasha's bank card and fled. Unfortunately, Sasha wasn't much of a saver either. The card had less than a few $100,000 left. This doesn't solve her urgent problem at all. What should she do? Wait, the house she's living in now. Selling it would definitely be enough. She rushed back home in a panic, only to find that there was hardly anything of value left. The large house wasn't even in their name. It belonged to her stepfather, but now she couldn't even reach her stepfather. He was still abroad. Liana sat on the couch, listening to the system continuously announcing expenditure figures, some large, some small, and quite numerous. She couldn't understand how her good-for-nothing sister had suddenly become so capable to amass such a fortune in such a short time. Finally, a sharp pain shot through her heart, and she spat out a mouthful of blood. The system screen froze, ceasing to scroll, and only after a long pause did it display, "Your request to exchange fates has failed. The penalty mechanism has been activated. You must repay the system assets totaling 13,564, 300 yuan within 1 week, or face a deduction of twice the amount from your lifespan." That's right. I made 13,564, 300 yuan in just 1 week, barely getting 3 hours of sleep a day. My dear sister, whether you can pay me back or not, my financial luck is finally back in my own hands. Clara also made a small fortune this time, earning several 100,000 yuan, which finally covered her son's surgery expenses. Dad called me as soon as he returned to the country. After seeing my message, he didn't go straight home. Instead, we sat down and had our first proper heart-to-heart talk. He always prioritized business over family and me, and I resented him so much for it. Especially after Mom passed away, I couldn't stand the sight of him and made a point of opposing him at every turn. This time, I chose to sit down and lay out the whole story for him. At first, he was just happy to see how much I'd grown, without dwelling too much on how plausible the tale might be. It did sound pretty far-fetched, after all, that is, until he saw Sasha at the hospital, aged decades overnight. Losing 20 years of her life had left her utterly withered, like an elder lingering late into winter, her entire being drained of vitality and color. 3. I thought Dad would divorce Aunt Sasha, but after chain-smoking, he just sent her to a nursing home, apart from paying the regular fees. He never visited her again. Dad also formally gave me everything Mom left behind, including the bank book. He said I had grown up and he felt confident in trusting everything at home to me. I moved back home, and Uncle Wang continued to drive me around. I then learned that Uncle Wang was Mom's childhood friend who never married his whole life because of her. That I could return home in this lifetime was thanks to the good deeds he and Dad had done. After Sasha moved into the nursing home, Liana used her pregnancy as an excuse to marry Holden. Once When I went back to the neighborhood to pick up some things, I saw them walking from a distance. Holden was supporting a pregnant woman in her 30s or 40s. Aside from her slightly swollen belly, her hair was dull, her eyes were sunken, and she looked haggard and unkempt. I almost didn't recognize Liana. She got hit with a double penalty on top of the massive debt she owes the system. She can barely scrape together enough to dress herself decently. Holden didn't look so great either, lost his source of income and now has to care for an elderly person and a pregnant woman. Guess it's true what they say, every villain meets their match. Later on, Clara reached out and told me there was an apartment in the complex going for a steal. She asked if I was interested, said it was a really good deal. I stayed out of it and had Clara handle the whole thing, paid in full, no financing. Spending money without any constraints feels absolutely liberating. Story 2. At the apprenticeship ceremony, my junior sister rushed ahead of me to kowtow to Ashford. Ashford is the foremost figure in the cultivation world, just one step away from ascension. In my previous life, I was Ashford's sole disciple. During the sect competition, I dominated my junior sister throughout the matches. At the critical moment, my junior sister summoned Ashford's spiritual weapon and stabbed it through my chest. Only after my death did I realize that the junior sister was Ashford's love tribulation. The two of them had long pledged their love to each other in secret. When I opened my eyes again, I turned and took that useless man as my master. Everyone thinks I'm crazy, because although that man is revered as the Grand Master, he possesses no cultivation whatsoever. But they've forgotten, cultivators cannot live for 1,000 years. Only deities can, just like in our past lives. Junior apprentice Sister Morella stepped ahead of me and immediately knelt down to acknowledge Ashford as her master. Right after the sect leader declared him to be my teacher, the elders present showed slight changes in their expressions. Ashford froze for a few seconds, a hint of secret delight flashing in his eyes. The senior brother beside her quickly reminded her, "Junior Sister Morella, you're kneeling to the wrong person. Master Ashford is Alara's master." The sect leader hasn't announced your master yet. Morella looked up. Why can Alara become the disciple of the #1 cultivator in the cultivation world without even participating in the Ascension Assembly? I refused to accept this. Faced with her questioning, the senior brother hurriedly explained to her. The reason I didn't attend the Ascension ceremony is because my father was the sect leader of Zhuishui Immortal Sect. On the day I was born, he successfully ascended to immortality. My father became an immortal, and I became an immortal's privileged child. When I was 16, Zhuishui Immortal Sect was annihilated by the demon cult. As my father's eldest disciple lay dying, he entrusted me to the sect leader of Carefree Sect, because my father had once saved Carefree Sect in their time of crisis. The sect leader remembered this debt of gratitude and specially exempted me from the Ascension ceremony, allowing me to become the disciple of Ashford, the foremost cultivator in the realm. Hearing this, Morella didn't even bat an eyelid. Then I won't accept it either. It's widely said that the Xiaoyao sect is the #1 sect in the world, most particular about fairness and justice, yet they'd stoop to such dirty tricks as backdoor dealings. Morella was the only one who passed the Ascension Assembly trials and was also the candidate the sect leader favored. The sect leader had long decided that I would become Ashford's disciple, while he would take Morella as his own one. Who could have expected this to happen today? The sect leader said, displeased. In the Carefree Sect, it has always been the master who chooses the disciple, even if you're unwilling. You have no other choice, Morella said, aggrieved. I came here to compete for the title of the world's best. Moreover, how can the sect leader be sure that Master Ashford wouldn't be willing to take me as his disciple? At these words, everyone turned their gaze towards Ashford. Facing Morella's fervent gaze, Ashford actually spoke up. I am willing to accept Morella as my disciple. This is not what we agreed upon before. Though displeased, the sect leader still offered a compromise. Then I'll trouble you, junior brother, to take 2 disciples this year, Ashford said coldly. My energy is limited. I can only take one, so you just don't want me, is that it? The sect leader's face darkened instantly, ready to explode in anger. I stepped forward at that moment. Sect leader, I also object. Alara has no wish to become Ashford's disciple. Hearing this, Ashford's expression turned grim. He probably never imagined there existed someone in this world unwilling to become his disciple. The sect leader momentarily breathed a sigh of relief. Then who do you want to be your master? I reached out and pointed. I want him. As soon as these words were spoken, the sect leader sat solemnly in the high hall as the white-robed man's hand, toying with a cup, suddenly paused. Though he had already lived for 1,000 years, his appearance remained that of a young man. The sect leader slammed the table. Nonsense. How dare you speak of ancestor Xander like, I will. The handsome man's voice was deep as he gazed straight at me. I'll take you as my disciple. After Morella and I paid respects to our master, we were immediately driven away by the sect leader. My senior brother chased after us, junior sister Alara How could you be so foolish? Choosing Patriarch Xander as your master is such a waste of your exceptional cultivation talent. My senior brother looked utterly dismayed, pounding his chest in frustration. Can't blame him. Because of my father, I was born with immortal bones, and my aptitude is exceptional, no matter who I take as my master. With just a little guidance, I have the chance to break through to the virtual core stage. For those with talent, breaking through to the virtual core is easy, but to progress further, one must take a master with superior cultivation. In the Carefree sect, no one has higher cultivation than Ashford, no one is lower than Xander. Xander is called the ancestor because he was the fellow disciple of the master's master's master. Those who shared the same sect with him either ascended or have already fallen. Although Xander's age is evident, it's well known that he possesses no spiritual power, useless except for longevity, just a mascot in the Xiaoyao sect. So when they learned I wanted to apprentice under him, my senior brother and the elders were all shocked. They'd gladly find an ox to drag me away. Even Morella said, "Alara, I really don't know if you're willingly degrading yourself or just being too arrogant." I glanced at her. "None of your business." Morella's expression changed, just about to get angry. Then we heard Ashford call her name, and she immediately put on an obedient expression, followed Ashford and left. The senior brother watched her retreating figure with admiration, remarking, "In thousands of years, she's the only one who dares to defy the sect leader. Tell me, what extraordinary qualities does this Morella possess to earn such high regard from Elder Ashford?" In today's cultivation world, the Xiaoyao sect reigns as the foremost sect precisely because of Ashford, their ultimate weapon, yet Ashford has an eccentric temperament, wholly devoted to immortal cultivation. After breaking through to the Mahayana realm, he found the heights unbearably lonely. If it weren't for the sect leader pleading with him 3 times and threatening to cut off his spirit stones, he would never have agreed to take me as his disciple in my previous life. This exact same scene had occurred. I fell for Ashford the very first time we met. In this world, it's not uncommon for masters and disciples to form romantic bonds, so from the very beginning, I wanted to become his disciple. At that time, Morella refused to accept it, so I simply beat her into submission and successfully became Ashford's apprentice. But I never expected that Ashford didn't actually want to take me as his disciple, compared to a privileged immortal like me. Ashford found women like Morella who climbed up from the bottom more admirable. As Ashford's disciple, when he says one I naturally wouldn't dare say two, I love and respect him, yet he always treats me with icy indifference. As a master, one should bestow spiritual artifacts upon their disciples. For direct disciples in particular, the spiritual artifacts given are treasures hard to find between heaven and earth. Spiritual artifacts are already useless to someone of Ashford's cultivation level. I had thought he would give me his life-bound spiritual artifact. In the end, he just had my senior brother take me to the warehouse to casually pick a spiritual weapon. Although he didn't care much about me as his disciple, I still managed to break through to the virtual core stage in just 1 year. That day I was overjoyed, even forgetting to fly, and ran straight to tell Ashford the good news, and it happened right in Ashford's courtyard, the place he wouldn't allow me to step into. I saw Morella reciting incantations to fly on her sword. Ashford was guiding her gently from the side, and in those eyes was a tenderness I would never see in this lifetime. Morella said, "Uncle Ashford, if you teach me like this, what if senior sister Alara gets upset?" Ashford's smile faded when he heard my name. "Too, she can't compare to you." Those words hurt more than the sharpest spiritual weapon piercing my heart. From then on, Ashford instructed Morella to stop hiding things. The sect leader harbored resentment and went to talk with Ashford, but he thought it was me who reported it, and punished me by making me kneel at the back mountain for 3 days and nights. I always thought Ashford didn't like me because he believed I couldn't compare to Morella, so on the day of the sect competition, when I encountered Morella, I pinned her down and beat her. I struck until her spiritual weapon shattered and she collapsed to the ground, just as I was about to stop. Morella began chanting an incantation. A spiritual weapon descended from the heavens. Seeing that spiritual weapon, I was completely stunned. That was Ashford's life-bound spiritual weapon. Only the person who formed a contract with it could wield it. So Ashford had already given his life-bound spiritual weapon to Morella. In my days, that spiritual weapon shattered mine into pieces. Finally, it plunged straight into my heart. Recalling this, it feels as if that spiritual weapon is still embedded in my chest. Just as the pain in my chest flared, someone ruffled my hair from above. Xander's voice sounded ahead of me. "Let's go, little apprentice." Perhaps from living too long, Xander carries an extraordinary aura of immortality beyond ordinary people. To put it bluntly, it's laziness. Too lazy to walk, too lazy to get up, too lazy to tidy the house, too lazy to cook. After having me, He found it exceptionally convenient to order me around, fetching water, chopping firewood, feeding the pigs, and so on. Why is the sacred beast of the Xiaoyao sex founder a pig? I bathed the pig with dissatisfaction as Xander slowly emerged from the room, holding a bunch of grapes in his hand. He smiled and looked at me for a while, then beckoned to me with his finger. I ignored him. He directly threw the grapes at me. "Come here, my disciple." I thought such an ancient ancestor would be more dignified, but who knew he could be so mischievous? After living together for a month, I've lost whatever respect I had left for him, I said irritably. "Just say what you want to say," Xander said. "Disciple, you've been with me for a month now. Have you made any progress in your cultivation? How dare you bring that up? I choose Xander as my master, first, because the place where he lives is the quietest and most spiritually abundant area of the Carefree sect, so I thought cultivating here would be faster. Another reason is that I was reborn and still remember the cultivation techniques from my past life. With my comprehension, I believe I can progress even faster this time. It's truly peaceful here, and indeed, there's no time. These days I've been serving Xander every day. With no time for cultivation at all, I can't be bothered with him." Xander spoke again. "By rights, a master should prepare spiritual tools for their disciple. I've prepared one for you too." Hearing these words, my eyes lit up. I thought to myself, could I have misunderstood Xander? Having lived this long, he must possess a couple of superior spiritual artifacts, so I immediately put down the brush and rushed straight behind him, flatteringly massaging his back. I asked, "What is it, master? What have you prepared for me?" Xander spread his hands, and a white light appeared. A branch appeared in his hand. I waited for a long time. Nothing changed. Still branches, straight branches. I lower my eyes. Xander asks, "Do you like it? What do you think? How can this broken branch be considered a spiritual weapon? It's utterly laughable." I lowered my hand and walked dejectedly toward the pig. Just as expected, there's no point in having any hope for this shameless old thing. There's still time to ask senior brother to find one in the warehouse. Don't like it. It's yours now anyway. With a flick of his hand, Xander stuck the branch to my waist. 2 days later, I went to ask senior brother for the spiritual weapon. Just entering the warehouse, Mirella came over with several senior sisters. She saw me. "Senior sister Alara, I heard the ancestor gave you a peerless spiritual artifact. Quick, show it to us. In this lifetime, there's no obstacle for me." Ashford had long since made his life-bound spiritual artifact form a contract with the junior sister. The smug look on her face told me she came here deliberately to show off. Several senior sisters nearby couldn't stop grinning. "We've truly never seen Elder Xander's spiritual artifact before. Could it be an ancient relic?" Knowing they were looking for trouble, I turned to leave. Unexpectedly, Mirella grabbed my arm. "Why are you running? Didn't you hear senior sister talking to you?" I chuckled lightly. "Who's calling whom senior sister?" I was personally accepted by Patriarch Xander. Even the sect leader has to address me as Grandmaster. "You dare claim to be my senior sisters? That's some audacity." Hearing this, the senior sisters' expressions turned extremely unpleasant. The Carefree sect places utmost importance on respecting teachers and upholding traditions. After the insult, I immediately tried to flee, but Mirella instantly teleported right in front of me. Only then did I realize how much her skills had improved. Mirella blocked my path and chuckled. "Alara, did you really think we cared about that Xander? He's just a mortal who's lived a bit longer without spiritual power. Today, you must show me that spiritual artifact." After speaking, Mirella raised her hand, and a peerless sword descended from the heavens. "This is Ashford's destined spiritual artifact, the first spiritual sword between heaven and earth. When this sword is drawn, thunder rumbles across the horizon." The crowd gasped in awe. Mirella has actually mastered spiritual swords to such an extent already. Incredible. It seems she'll reach the Void Core stage very soon. Alara is done for. With just the items given by Patriarch Xander, how could she possibly defeat the world's top spiritual sword? Listening to these words, Mirella's face was filled with smug satisfaction. "Alara, take this." With a wave of her hand, the spirit sword thrust straight toward me. I wanted to run, but that was the #1 spirit sword. How could I possibly dodge it? I stood frozen in place, unable to move. Just when I thought my life would end like this, that branch flew out from beside my waist, directly blocking the sword chi of the spirit sword. The two spiritual weapons clashed against each other. With a loud snap sound, the spirit sword couldn't withstand the branch's attack and fell to the ground. In an instant, shattered into pieces, saw their spiritual weapon shattered into fragments. Mirella's eyes widened in shock. She exclaimed in disbelief, "How is this possible? How could a mere broken branch possess such power?" I was also shocked. That branch flew through the air right in front of me. Though it had no face, I felt it stretch lazily, as if it had fought an unsatisfying battle. I spread open my hands, and the branch slowly settled into my palm. I caressed it tenderly, feeling surges of spiritual energy flowing into my body. "Mirella, you must accept your defeat gracefully." I retracted the branch and turned to leave after saying those words. Unexpectedly, Morella's face was filled with hatred. "You think you can just walk away after breaking my spirit sword? It won't be that easy." She recited an incantation and struck towards me with her palm. Just as she was about to touch me, a golden sword aura suddenly appeared. Morella was injured by the sword aura. She flew midair, and Ashford arrived just in time to catch her. I'll look back. Ashford held Morella horizontally in his arms and landed slowly. Morella spat out a large mouthful of blood directly. "Master, your disciple is useless. I failed to protect the spirit sword." Ashford looked up at me with eyes cold enough to kill. I remember in my past life, I knocked Morella to the ground. He looked at me the same way. That was the moment I realized, no matter how hard I try, could never compare to Morella's place in his heart. "So you're this strong? Let's have a fight then." Ashford began channeling his energy. 3. I felt the spiritual artifact at my waist starting to stir, but I knew it clearly. No matter how powerful a spiritual artifact is, it's no match for a Mahayana cultivator. When war was on the verge of breaking out, Xander approached slowly. "Ashford, are you going to fight a little girl?" I turned around and saw Xander riding his little pig slowly approaching us. Ashford withdrew his gesture, yet he still didn't take this so-called ancestor seriously. "It was your disciple who destroyed my spiritual artifact. Was I wrong to teach her a lesson?" Xander slowly came to a stop in front of me while riding a pig. "Since it was my disciple who destroyed your disciple's spiritual artifact, then you, as the master, should come to me." "The master?" Ashford narrowed his eyes. "You want to fight me?" I watched Xander's receding figure. The wind billowed his cyan robe. In that moment, I truly wondered, perhaps Xander, like this sword he gave me, is a peerless master hidden in plain sight. Perhaps he has already become an immortal, staying here just for fun. A touch of emotion welled up in my heart, but until the red aura began to condense around Ashford's body, Xander just shook his head. "Why must everything be about fighting? Since my disciple destroyed your spiritual artifact, I'll compensate you with another one. No need for violence, no need for anger." Me. Xander brought Ashford back to his residence. The moment he opened his treasure vault, the light emitted by thousands of spiritual weapons blinded everyone. Inside, they saw top-grade spiritual weapons neatly arranged together. Any spiritual artifact inside is superior to Morella's spiritual sword. A word inexplicably popped into my mind. Poor students have the most stationery. Xander leaned lazily against the doorframe, spreading his hands. "Take your pick." Morella's eyes couldn't conceal their greedy glint upon seeing so many spiritual artifacts. After all, before reaching the Mahayana stage, spiritual artifacts remain the most crucial tools for cultivators in battles. In the end, Morella joyfully selected a purple sword and left. As she departed, her grin stretched nearly to her ears. I looked at her, feeling somewhat angry. Xander seemed to notice my displeasure. He said lightly to me, "The Linyuan I gave you is not a spiritual artifact." I froze. "Then what is it?" Xander said. "It's an immortal artifact. Weapons are categorized into ordinary weapons, spiritual artifacts, immortal artifacts, and divine artifacts. But the mortal world only has ordinary weapons and spiritual artifacts. Immortal and divine artifacts are things of legend." I think Xander is talking nonsense, but looking at his expression, it feels genuine, with Linyuan by my side. I started practicing the techniques Ashford taught me in my previous life late at night. Unexpectedly, as soon as I began, I saw Xander standing not far away. I withdrew my hand gesture. "Why aren't you sleeping?" Xander said. "Stop practicing this technique. It's not suitable for you." He wasn't wrong. In my previous life, after breaking through to the virtual core stage, I felt this technique was no longer useful to me. But, I said, I don't know how to do anything else. Although my father was the sect leader of the Zhuoshui immortal sect, he ascended to immortality when I was born. I possessed immortal bones, but my mortal mother's body couldn't withstand it. She exhausted her strength giving birth to me and passed away. Although my father's eldest disciple doted on and loved me, he refused to teach me my father's cultivation techniques. He wouldn't let me call him senior brother. Even when I was young, he brought back a woman. He taught her all my family's cultivation techniques. Everyone in Zhuoshui immortal sect superficially respected me, but treated that sister more like the sect leader's daughter. Before reaching the foundation establishment stage, I had to secretly teach myself everything. After coming to the carefree sect, every school's techniques here counteract each other. Only Ashford taught me a little bit, now that I've become Xander's disciple. He has no spiritual power at all and lacks the ability to teach me. Everyone says I'm exceptionally talented, yet no one wants to teach me. Xander frowned slightly after hearing my story. He waved his hand. "Follow me." I followed him into a secret chamber. Only then did I realize, beyond spiritual artifacts, Xander has collected more cultivation techniques. He searched inside for a long time, and finally gave me a book. "This one suits you. Practice it well." And in time you will surely achieve great mastery. I looked at the book, then at Xander. He leaned against the door, a smile playing on his lips. My heart skipped a beat. Xander didn't lie to me. Practicing the techniques from that book, in just half a year, I progressed from foundation establishment to nascent soul. This speed is unprecedented and unparalleled in the cultivation world, although Xander lacks spiritual power. He has a deep understanding of cultivation techniques. He always watches me practice from the side, offering guidance whenever I make mistakes. I feel this cultivation technique suits me perfectly. Ask him, where did this cultivation technique come from? Xander pointed to the sky. It came from the heavens. I laughed. Yeah, right. Keep bragging. It wasn't until I reached the nascent soul stage that the Xiaoyao sect realized their ancestral founder wasn't just a mascot. He possesses no spiritual power, yet wields spiritual artifacts and cultivation techniques. The reason he didn't show it before was because no one respected him, correct? Even though he's called the ancestor, yet not a single person genuinely respected him. Even the sect leader only summoned him for important occasions when remembered. If forgotten, so be it. After Xander's reputation spread, more people came seeking to become his disciples. But Xander's seniority is too high. He won't take on disciples anymore. Just give some lectures, teaching theoretical knowledge. Among them, Morella is the one who runs around the most. It's true that Ashford is the #1 in the cultivation world, and he's also brought Morella to the golden core stage, but compared to me, it's simply not impressive enough. Morella was impatient for success, pestering Xander daily for cultivation techniques. Xander disliked her and directly sent her away. Yet Morella immediately knelt and kowtowed. I begged the ancestor to teach this unworthy disciple. This scene happened to be witnessed by Ashford, who came looking for her. Seeing this scene, his face darkened completely. He turned and left in anger. Before I could finish enjoying the spectacle, the sect leader summoned me. They say there are demon beasts causing trouble in the northwest, and asked me to assist my senior brother in subduing them. Hearing this, I immediately got excited. After practicing against thin air every day, I finally have a chance to show my skills. These puny demon beasts are no match for me. After defeating the demon beast, my senior brother and I spent 2 months playing at the foot of the mountain before returning. Just as I entered with the gift I bought for Xander, I caught a whiff of blood in the air. Xander was leaning weakly against the bed with pale lips while the sect leader fed him medicine. Xander asked weakly, "Please don't tell Alara about this." I interrupted, "Don't tell me anything." Xander froze. He looked up at me and gave me a weak smile. "You're back." His appearance was truly unsightly. He was riddled with illness, a far cry from his former immortal demeanor, yet tears welled up uncontrollably in my eyes as I asked him, "Who did this to you?" Xander laughed. "I encountered a wild boar while hunting." "Nonsense. Xander is so lazy. How could he possibly go hunting?" "Xander, that pig isn't even a pig at all, but the legendary divine beast Lily, with this thing by Xander's side. How could an ordinary wild boar possibly harm him?" Xander knew he couldn't hide it from me at all, so it was Morella who did this. She heard Xander had a secret chamber for storing martial arts techniques and kept pestering him to let her see it. Xander treasures his baby dearly, making it impossible for her to enter, so Morella took action against Xander, who had no spiritual power. She injured Xander but was struck by the arriving sect leader. Now Morella has been placed in confinement. After hearing this, I grabbed Lin Yuan and went to confront her. The sect leader stopped me and told me she was Ashford's disciple. Whose disciple she is doesn't matter now. I fumed. She injured Elder Xander. This is outright betrayal of her master and ancestors. The sect leader hesitated, but Ashford insists on protecting her. If we push Ashford too hard and he leaves the carefree sect, what then? So we're just letting it go like this. Isn't the carefree sect supposed to value righteousness the most? Don't they emphasize respecting teachers and upholding moral principles? It's just that Ashford is the top cultivator, while Xander is merely an ancestor without spiritual power. I take a few steps back. Can't believe it. This is what I've been pursuing. This is the sect leader I respect. How could this happen? How can this be allowed? Xander said to me. "Forget it, Alara. I'm fine. I won't accept this. I refuse to accept this." I picked up Lin Yuan again and walked straight out. To hell with the #1 cultivator. Even if it's the only god in the 9th heaven, I also want to seek justice for Xander. Today, either Morella dies or I perish. In an instant, dark clouds gathered outside, and thunder rolled across the sky. The sect leader gathered his energy. Just as he was about to forcefully suppress me, the senior brother rushed over in panic. "No. No good. Morella has run away. Ran away." I immediately chased after her. A hole was blasted through the dungeon. I asked my senior brother, which direction did they run? My senior brother shook his head. Couldn't see clearly, but Uncle Ashford has already given chase. The sect leader said Ashford would definitely bring Morella back, but I'm not so sure about that. Only I, who have experienced the previous life, know how important Morella is to Ashford, even if she wanted the moon in the sky. The other would pluck it down for her. I began taking care of Xander in place of the sect leader, while applying medicine to him. The wounds on his body made me realize he must have suffered more than just a slap from Morella. Those wounds made me sad. Xander saw my expression. "Don't you dare cry. I've got nothing left to comfort you with, for," I pouted, "if you can't win, why not just run?" Xander said. "I can't outrun them either. I'm unhappy." "How on earth have you managed to live all these years?" Xander looked up at the sky. "I wonder about that too. Honestly, I think I'm quite cowardly. All these years, I haven't even dared to die." This was the first time I saw a look of desolation in Xander's eyes. He's been living alone in this world for so many years, witnessed many people leaving him behind, yet he lacked even the courage to die. I comforted him. "Not everyone should be expected to have the courage to die." Xander ruffled my hair. "Aren't you curious about my past?" "I am, but I didn't know how to ask." To me, Xander is quite mysterious. He has no spiritual power, yet he can tame divine beasts and possesses so many spiritual techniques and mental cultivation methods, and he's lived for so long. You should know, although cultivators live longer than mortals, it's only by an extra 100 years at most. In 200 years, one either ascends or falls, but no one knows Xander's age. Xander laughed. "Actually, I'm not as old as you imagine, and I can die too," I asked. "When," Xander said, "when she comes, I wonder who the she is." But Xander stopped answering my questions, demanding to go to sleep. "I don't want him to sleep. Keep asking him." "Got tired of asking," Xander said. "He was my former apprentice." I chuckled lightly. "You're kidding me. Who else would recognize an ethereal spiritual root like yours as a master besides me?" Xander sulked. "Fine, don't believe me then." He rolled over. But suddenly, my heart felt hollow. Is Xander's disciple really that good? To think he still can't forget about it. For the next 3 months, there was no news of Morella and Ashford. 3 months later, the sect's grand competition. All cultivation sects have arrived at the Carefree sect. I've also broken through to the nascent soul stage, reaching the deity transformation realm. My cultivation speed astonished everyone, leaving my peers far behind. The final day of the sect competition. I asked Xander if he wanted to come watch me fight. Xander chuckled. "Kids fighting, I'll pass." I wanted to argue back, but he had a point. To him, we were nothing more than children, yet he still came that day, lounging lazily in the first-class seat, with an utterly harmless expression. When sparring with senior brother, I realized something was wrong after just 2 moves. I mustered my strength and pointed Lin Yuan at him. "You're not my senior brother. Who are you?" The senior brother let out an unpleasant laugh as one hand tore through his face, revealing a familiar face. "It's actually Morella. Long time no see. Alara." I saw the bright red mark on her forehead and immediately sensed something was wrong. "You've actually turned to demonic cultivation." Morella burst into laughter. "I was a demon from the very beginning." Suddenly, I thought of the Zhishui immortal sect. Thought of how my senior brother was severely injured protecting me. Thought of those rivers formed by flowing blood, the hatred of slaughtering one's family. My eyes turned red, and the Lin Yuan in my hand trembled, sensing my fury. "Today, I shall use your blood to pay tribute to elder brother and the others." I charged directly at her, but Morella knocked me to the ground with a single palm strike. Only then did I realize she wasn't at the Golden Core stage at all. She was at the Great Ascension stage. In this world, there are 2 Great Ascension cultivators. One is the world's top cultivator, Ashford. There's also the demon sect leader, Sabrina. I suddenly realized, "You're the demon sect leader. Having immortal bones truly makes you extraordinary." Sabrina clapped her hands, licking her bewitching lips. "It took me 50 years to reach the nascent soul stage, yet you achieved it in 3 months. Your flesh and blood must taste absolutely delicious." Rumor has it that Sabrina's cultivation technique involves devouring others' power for her own use. I asked her, "You've already reached the great vehicle realm. Why come to my Carefree sect?" "Of course, it's for you," Sabrina told me. "I need your immortal bones." Suddenly I understood why Sabrina kept trying to kill me in my past life. She wanted to harvest my immortal bones all along. Sabrina's appearance has attracted the attention of many people. I saw all the monks pick up their spiritual weapons, eager to try and eliminate this demon. But how could Sabrina possibly come alone? The clouds piled up heavily, the sun obscured by dark clouds. Strange noises came from outside the door as demonic cultists burst in. How could this be? How did the demonic clan break the seals of the Carefree sect? Could someone have leaked the secret? Only the elders know the method to break the Xiaoyao sect seal, and the elder closest to Sabrina. There's only that one. The battle is imminent. I look towards Xander's position. I realize he's disappeared at some point without me noticing. Gone. Good riddance. This way, fighting won't be distracting. I picked up Lin Yuan. I know my current cultivation stands no chance against a Mahayana cultivator, but I still wanted to have a fight. Sabrina swiftly knocked me to the ground. I lay on the ground, vomiting a mouthful of blood. Sabrina walked towards me and said, "Taking your immortal bones was such a hassle. This sect protecting you, that sect leader forbidding it. I had to pretend for so long, but it wasn't a complete waste here." I quite like those spiritual artifacts. Clutching my chest, I asked, "What do you mean? You slaughtered my sect just for me," Sabrina said. "What else? Just slaughtering for fun. When your senior brother died, it was truly a sight to behold. He wouldn't let us learn the techniques, yet cultivated a replacement for you. Otherwise, why would it have been so difficult for me to find you?" My entire heart trembled. So it was like this. It was actually like this. The elder Marshall brother did everything for me. I remember how the elder Marshall brother looked when he died, filled with indignation, struggled to get up and picked up the sword again, shouting loudly, "Come, today either you die or I perish." Knocked down, gets back up, again. Fall down, get up, come. Finally, I coughed up mouthfuls of blood. Sabrina waved her hand dismissively. "No time to play with you." She walked toward me, intending to directly take my immortal bones. At this very moment, the sect leader shielded me. Beneath the great vehicle, there is no match. Yet Sabrina effortlessly broke through his boundary. The sect leader said to me, "Alara, run. You are the hope of the carefree sect. Run." I watched as the sect leader withstood Sabrina's impact for me. The heart feels somewhat complicated. The scent of blood in the air grows heavier. Sabrina's palm pierced through the sect leader's chest. 5. She greedily drained the sect leader completely. My heart ached. Sect leader, sect leader. The sect leader's last act before closing his eyes was still urging me to run, but I could no longer move a muscle. Sabrina came towards me again. I closed my eyes and waited, but this time, someone stood in front of me again. It was actually Ashford. Ashford, dressed in tattered clothes, said to Sabrina, "Sabrina, it's not too late to turn back." Sabrina grew furious. "You're going to stop me too." Ashford bit his lip. "Evil will never triumph over good." What a fine saying. Evil will never triumph over good. Sabrina laughed wildly. "But who decided you're the good and I'm the evil?" Ashford may be aloof, but years of proper education have taught him right from wrong. "What is right and what is wrong?" Ashford lamented bitterly. "As an elder of the carefree sect, I cannot stand by and watch you destroy our sect. Sabrina, don't persist in your mistakes. If you wish to ascend, I can accompany you. Don't continue down this wicked path," Sabrina said. "What a great way to accompany my cultivation. Do you really want to accompany my cultivation, or do you want me to accompany you through your love tribulation?" Ashford was stunned. I was also stunned. So Sabrina turned out to be Ashford's love tribulation. No wonder. Ashford murmured, "You actually knew and still, Ashford, you call yourself a righteous man and label me as a heretic, but how much more righteous are you than me? Didn't you know all along that I was from the demon clan, yet you kept me in the Xiaoyao sect and took me as your disciple? Wasn't it just to use me to overcome your love tribulation? How much nobler are you than me?" I looked up, can't believe my ears. Ashford already knew Morella was Sabrina. Yet he still left her at the carefree sect. This realization made the pain in my chest grow sharper. Ashford turned pale at her words as he began chanting incantations. Suddenly, he turned back and glanced at me. He whispered softly, "I was wrong before." I froze in surprise. Somehow I feel this sentence was directed at me. "What's wrong?" "Now I shall take you down. When two Mahayana cultivators fight, heaven and earth tremble." Sabrina quickly found herself at a disadvantage. Ashford finally pinned her down, his hands gripping her neck. Sabrina's gaze suddenly softened with tenderness. "Ashford, kill me. I'm willing to die by your hand. This thing called love, the hardest to control." Ashford's heart softened, the strength in his hands gradually loosening. At that moment, Sabrina seized the opportunity, summoned a spiritual weapon and pierced Ashford's heart with a single sword strike. "Just like how you pierced my heart back then." Sabrina absorbed his cultivation. After absorbing it, Sabrina's entire body began glowing with red light. The sky was dyed red for half its expanse. Sabrina ascended. This fact made everyone stop what they were doing. She laughed wildly. "It's broken. I've finally broken through the Mahayana stage. How could this happen? Oh my god, why are you helping this she-devil?" The smell of blood in the air grows heavier. I looked at the sect leader and Ashford lying on the ground. A wave of sorrow welled up in my heart. Sabrina turned her gaze to me again, slightly raising her hand as a shockwave came at me. "Let's see who can stop me from killing you now." No one can stop someone who has broken through the Mahayana realm." I closed my eyes. I feel like I might die. Just before dying, I still wanted to see that person one last time. The imagined impact never struck me. All I heard was a pig squeal, witnessed a scene that made my scalp crawl. The Lily was knocked to the ground by spiritual energy. Xander was lifted up by Sabrina, who was choking his neck. I shouted excitedly, "Xander, what brings you here?" He possessed no spiritual energy whatsoever. Coming here is asking for death. Sure enough, Sabrina just threw Xander right in front of me. He was already unable to move. Xander coughed, blood soaking his chest. He gave me a bleak smile. "No, I'm really going to die." My whole heart was wrenched. I said, "No, you can't die. You haven't waited for that person yet. How can you die, Master?" You must not die. My tears fell like pearls. Images of Xander in all his forms flooded my mind. Lazy, smiling, earnest. I realized it belatedly. I had long harbored unusual feelings for Xander. Xander reached out, his fingertips wiping away my tears. Alara, don't cry. Do you want to kill her? I'll help you. No. I want you to live. I just want you to live. If you can survive. Xander let out a light laugh, flicked his wrist, and sent Lin Yuan flying into the air. Then it plunged straight into his chest. No. I went straight to pull Lin Yuan, but no matter how hard I tried, it wouldn't budge. Xander smiled at me. Don't cry. A goddess must not weep. The sect leader is dead. Ashford is dead. Now Xander is dead too. More and more people are dying. I felt my heart stop for a moment, only to beat even faster the next instant. My entire body grew hot, trembling all over. I was enveloped by a divine force, lifting me upward. The moment countless divine powers surged into my body. I simultaneously received endless memories. Strange phenomena suddenly appeared in the sky. Golden and purple lights connected as one. All cultivators were stunned by my transformations, until an elder exclaimed, "It's the Divine Maiden. This is the Divine Maiden. Hasn't the goddess already vanished for 1,000 years? How could she reappear in the mortal realm now? So I was never an immortal bone to begin with. I am a divine bone. That's why my cultivation progressed so rapidly." The wounds on my body have completely healed. Landed in front of Sabrina, slowly opening my eyes. Sabrina's face looked terrible. "What goddess? I think it's just a gimmick you made up. Prepare to die." She came running towards me holding the spiritual artifact. I waved my hand lightly. Sabrina instantly spat out blood. She now believes I'm the Divine Maiden. Instead, she burst into laughter. "You're a goddess. Then you must have divine bones. Perfect. If I eat divine bones, wouldn't I become a goddess too?" She tried to get up, only to discover her fingers had turned to ash. Then the whole person was like dust. A gust of wind blew, and it scattered away. "What kind of thing? How dare you question the power of the gods?" I raised my hand and chanted an incantation. Enveloping those people in white light, the wounded slowly began to heal. Witnessing this, someone froze in shock. 6. Fall prostrate to the ground. We humbly welcome the goddess's descent to the mortal realm. One voice rises. 10,000 voices respond. Welcome the goddess descending to the mortal realm. The voice grew louder and louder. I heard the mountains and the sea roaring as well. I paid no attention to these people. Transformed into a streak of white light, soared to the 9th heaven. I am a goddess, yet not divine. My master Xander is the only true god in this world. He dwells in the highest heavens, teaching me his skills. One day I sneaked down to the mortal realm and caused trouble by altering someone's fate. The heavens were enraged, stripped me of my divine powers, and erased my memories. As punishment, the heavens condemned me to suffer through 1,000 years of mortal trials, enduring hardship in every lifetime. Because of me, my master also descended to the mortal world. He possesses divine memories but lacks divine powers. He could only wait for me in the mortal realm for 1,000 years. He couldn't actively seek me out. Only I can seek him out. Every century, a cultivator with immortal bones enters the carefree sect, yet without exception, not a single one has taken Xander as their master. No one was willing to approach this person who had only appearance but no abilities. Thus, Xander lived alone for 1,000 years, over the millennia. He wrote down all the cultivation techniques he remembered into books. He collected spirit stones to craft spiritual artifacts, waiting and waiting, finally waited for a little one named Alara. According to fate, I cannot take him as my master. He also mentally prepared himself for 10,000 years of waiting. Every single time, he watches me die miserably. He can't bear it, can't endure it. But he also knew that if he intervened, I would only face greater divine punishment. Another disciple selection ceremony. He wondered whether to play some tricks, maybe even use his charm, but this time, the little girl named Alara was determined, pointing and saying, "I want him, the 9th heaven." Everyone congratulated me. I hastily thanked him and hurried away. Arriving at the familiar residence, I finally caught sight of that well-known figure from behind. Xander, dressed in a blue robe, was pinching fish food to feed the fish. I ran over and called out to him, "Xander." Xander turned his head. "No respect for seniority. You should address me as master." "I don't want to call you master." Ran straight over and wrapped my arms around his waist. Called out to him again, "Xander." Xander patted my head. "Welcome home." The end.